So, hey everyone, Lash Luke here again with Party Jams to talk about the latest issue of Weekly Shonen Jump, the Christmas edition. Woo! So yeah, this will be the last one because obviously Shonen Jump is on break next week, so it'll be the last one before the new year and everything. So hope after the stream, hope you guys have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Yep, happy holidays. I will also add that the only two series that actually did a Christmas chapter are like two series we won't be talking about, Magu and Roboco. So,
Yeah.
But honestly, they weren't much to write home about. It was just like the feel good chapters. That's all they were, really.
Yeah, and of course, in case you don't know anyone, all the chapters will be getting a special winter chapter in. I think it's the next issue. If I
Yeah,
yeah. So that'll be the one after Christmas, and then the week when they're not when Shonen Jump's on break after the Christmas one, we'll be talking about the Jump Festa, because there is a lot to talk about there with that one.
Yeah, I did want to ask: Are we talking about any announcements this week, or are we saving all of them for next time?
I think we'll save them all for when we do the Jump Festa stream. We should just say we can give our initial reactions when we get to the chapters, and then talk about them more in detail when we get to the stream.
Oh, okay, that's fine then.
Yeah, because because when we get to Dr. Stone, the announcement, I do have something I want to say. You've probably seen it already yourself. It's in regards.
Oh yeah, I did.
It's in regards, to Ryusui's voice. But yeah, I guess first thing we should talk about is the newest series. So I will just let Kami know that we're talking about them. We are talking about the newer series. If you want to come.
Yeah, so I'm also just gonna toss in, before we talk about chapters, the cover page. Which, if you could scroll up to the top.
Yeah, let me scroll to the top. Yeah, I've got to say the cover page for Shonen Jump, which is obviously the thumbnail for the stream itself, because that is a glorious color page. Cover page.
Just pointing this one out particularly just because we have like all the series, and I mean, Senku is like flying a drone, and most people are just holding up items, but I think the funniest part for me is like Matsuri in the back, because it's like, I mean, for people who don't read Ayakashi, they don't know Matsuri is a dude. So it's like, it's going to be very confusing.
Yeah, it's going to be very confusing.
I'm trying to get we'll talk about announcements later, but the big development for Ayakashi, I'm trying to get my friends ready for Ayakashi coming up.
Yeah, and of course, Charmy's husband for Boyo in the Control Chaos Discord, he is possibly going to be giving it a chance, Ayakashi, given the announcement that's happened. Although some people might be a little bit disappointed by getting an announcement, namely some people who are not particularly fans of Ayakashi that we know about, and we've come to agree to disagree on that front.
Mm-hmm. But it is what it is. Ayakashi is just written by a veteran series, and it's been selling super well.
Yeah, so it was,
even though other series there's like Yozakura that's been off for much longer, and I honestly was expecting it to get an announcement first. It honestly is still kind of hanging on by its sales.
Yeah,
to be honest,
I would say next year at the least, at Jump Festa 2023, it might get the anime announcement then.
Yeah, and I can honestly even see it sooner if they really wanted to make drop teasers and leaks or something. But I think we'll still get the anime because it's like a Shonen Jump series that's still running. So why wouldn't it?
It's still running, and it's still popular enough that it could potentially get an anime. Depending on it all depends on how they actually want to do it as well.
Yeah, I mean, I expect it to, but I guess the other thing is if you've been paying attention to all the anime announcements, all the studios are busy. Dr. Stone is so busy. They're like, okay, guys, we need some time on this.
Also, I've just got to say one thing as well in regards to if anyone watched Roger Space's live stream manga of the year, you'll know that Mission Yosakura kind of got the snuff there because there was
Did
only
we want to talk about the manga stream?
um if you want to, we can quickly just go. We can quickly just talk about it if you want to.
Okay, I mean, I didn't watch like most of it to be honest with
All
you, but
right.
I mean, my quick points, like one in response to what you said, one Yozakura, it just had like a bad matchup in the beginning. I think if it was against like Komi or like that one obscure
It should,
series,
yeah, it really should have been up against Spy X Family.
yeah, or
That's
Spy
what.
X, it could have won then, maybe, because also the judges, like a lot of them didn't see it.
Yeah,
But
and
against
that's
Eden Zero, I would have voted for Eden Zero too. It's like one of the best series going on right now. So
yeah. A lot of
that was
people are
unfortunate.
yeah, a lot of people are saying that, and that's the thing. What I feel like should be improved for his streams. I mean, it's up to him what he wants to do. But personally, if I was gonna do like a stream like that and have judges, I would have judges who are like, okay, have you at least read at least a good chunk of these series?
That's the
Like
thing, though. I think a lot of them did read a good chunk of series. It's just Yozakura was just one of the ones they didn't.
that's the thing. That's the thing. The judge. If I was doing it like and I had judges, I would be like, okay, the rule is that whatever gets voted for, you have to read as much as possible before we get to the streams, so that it's more fair that way. You're not having like bias and just being like, oh, I didn't read it, or oh, I've heard it's good, but I've not gone into it yet. No, that has to be like. I feel like that has to be a rule, like because you've got to treat it like how you would treat like any you would be like a judge of anything. Like you would have to sit down, read it, get an idea of it, and think like, is this worth it?
And hi, Ann Arbor. Nice to see you. But I also, I'm not sure if I would necessarily say Yozakura shouldn't be on the list. I think it definitely is still among, like, maybe not among the very best, because, like, my second point to the stream was I think the top 8 that got in, I think those did represent, like, the very best of, like,
Yeah,
what was
like
out, other than maybe, like, one or two things I'm reading, like Fire Force.
yeah, like
But Yozakura is still up there. I think top 20 is still reasonable.
yeah, like when what you were saying, the top 8, like obviously One Piece was going to be on there, Jujutsu Kaisen, MHA, Doctor Stone. I'm gotta say it, I'm glad Doctor Stone did as well as it did.
Yeah, me too. That was about as well as I could have expected. And
Yeah.
even Eden Zero's up there, and it almost even beat MHA. It was
Oh
very
yeah,
close.
yeah. And of course, we all know One Punch Man won that stream.
Yeah, and I was a little surprised. I think that One Punch Man has been actually amazing this year. It's just I sometimes forget about the series because it's
Yeah,
kind of like a web comic also, so it's like the story is like a lot further along than the manga is. So I don't know how fair that was in some ways, but also
yeah,
it is absolutely incredible this year. So I'm happy it did
yeah.
win.
Also, I know, but yeah, I would say that is fair. Like, if not everyone can read it, if get judges that are like willing to like sit down and actually read these series, at least half of them. I'd say that would be fair.
Yeah, but that's what I was saying. Like I think they have read like most of those series. It's just that
Like,
some
I
of the
know,
ones we did like they didn't read.
I know, but that's the thing. Like all of them. Like if this series is like voted as like one of the best of the year, they have to read it.
Right. So it can't be just like half. Because I mean I think they definitely read more than half.
Oh yeah, good point, good point. And also, Kami, nice to see you as well. Shonen Jump tends to have the more popular series get bigger, closer. Yeah, that is true. Like you see here, you see right at the front, obviously Luffy, and then next to him you have Deku, Yuji. That the name of the main
Yes, yes,
character?
you
Yeah,
got
yeah,
it.
yeah,
Yuji.
Yuji. And then Senku right there, and then Chisuru from Blue Box there, or over to the over to
Too, but yeah.
yeah. Also, I've got to say right now, not looking good for Protect Me. Whatever that name is, you know the one.
Yeah, but I mean I think a lot of the new series are back there. Actually, what's really funny is Magu is just so far in the back.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Uh,
yeah.
Yeah, and also as well, like I said on Twitter to you, PPPPP that has to like sell well in its first volume if it wants to survive now. Because looking at where it is now, it's like not looking very good.
Yeah, it's true, but I think I have faith in the series going forward.
Yeah,
The recent arc ended well, and I think the new character they introduced is interesting. So we're not going to be talking about PPPPP, but it has some good stuff going forward. But I like Luke, I'm worried about its future.
yeah. I'd say if after the Christmas break, if it's still at the bottom for like all of January, then I'm like, oh boy, oh dear.
Yep, I would agree with that.
Yeah,
And before we get on to start the series, because we're not going to be talking about Sakamoto Days and Jujutsu Kaisen, but I know Kama, I know you also read those series, so I'm just going to tell you, like, yeah, Sakamoto Days was amazing. We finally have the protagonist meet the main villain, and it was well like worth the wait. And then for Jujutsu Kaisen, I kind of agreed with what you said on Discord. It just kind of happened. They introduced a weird comic character at the strangest time. But yeah, it was kind of an all right chapter. Not even all that great for Jujutsu Kaisen standards. So yeah, now we can move
yeah,
on.
yeah. And also, I just gotta say one. I hope PPPP stays. I like it. Yeah, I know, but I'll hope for you. But I mean, I just kind of dropped off on it. So I'm
I
sorry,
also
man.
dropped it, but I picked it up just because one of my mutuals kept pushing it, and yeah,
Yeah,
I think it was worth picking up. I mean, it's still like lower end of my manga readings, so I can't really heavily recommend it. But I also hope it stays in Arbor. I do.
yeah. And also, I've just got to say as well quickly. I'm about halfway through catching up on Undead Unluck. I'm up to the fight with Autumn.
Okay, yeah, that's when the story
That
got kind of bad.
that's when the story got kind of bad, and I'm gonna be like, oh, okay, I need to get through this one arc, just this one
Yeah, that's about where
arc.
you dropped it, right?
Yeah, this is about where I dropped it. I was like, oh, I can't take this. It's too meta. It's too meta.
Yeah. Okay, but just we can get through it.
Well, I'll get there. I will plow through it. Right.
Yep, I
So
appreciate it. I promise you, the next arc will be worth.
I have heard good things
Oh,
about
and
the
comma,
summer.
very good fan art you posted on Discord. I just saw
Yeah,
it.
I will. I will. I've heard good things about the summer arc from Undead Unlock. So yeah. Anyway, so I guess we should start with the new series. So we'll get them up first. So do you want to do Dora Dora first or Ayashimon?
Let's do Dora Doron. I think it's pretty straightforward chapter to talk about.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I will make time markers for timestamps later because we actually had a bit of. Okay,
yeah,
and you're pulling up the chapter, I assume.
yeah. I've got the chapter up, and also shout outs to One Smart as well. He's at work, but he'll be listening as well. So hopefully you're listening, One Smart.
Oh, hey, One Smart. Nice to
Yeah,
have you aboard if
yeah.
you're here. Okay, yep, I'm
Yeah,
ready.
I've got the chapter up. So yeah, Dora Dora. So this chapter, yeah, quite a basic chapter. Or as I like to call it, a trolling chapter, because this was basically what the main girl was doing in, pretty much throughout the whole chapter, just trolling them.
Yeah, this. I feel like the series like wanted to have like a bunch of like chapters to like really introduce the characters. I felt like this one was a slightly unnecessary in that sense, but I enjoyed it all the same. Um, so yeah, let's do it page by page. I guess that's what we usually do.
Yeah. So we have the chapter starting off with
Oh, hey, One Smart actually is here. Hi.
Oh, all right. Yeah. You're actually here. Yay! Once more is here. Woo! I Undead Unlock kind of lost its reason to stay. I dislike the main female character. Are you talking about
Wait,
Fuku from Undead Unlock Ann Arbor?
or are you talking about this Chio? We sorry, we kind of were talking while you made that comment. So Just let us know.
Yeah, just let us know. This chapter starts off with Kurosagi waking up Dora, and they're racing off to meet the female lead of the series. And she's like, "You're late. Didn't we agree that when I call for you, you'd come right away?" And it turns out that she called him at like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yep.
Which,
Okay, so Hugh did mean Chio and Arbor. Okay, and I can get that. Her personality is usually a very unlikable one. But I don't know. I find her just funny enough that I'm willing to forgive her otherwise dislikable personality. So I don't blame you. I just don't fully agree, but not for like any particular good reason.
Yeah. And again, we've only known her for like 2 chapters, so her personality could develop over time.
I hope so.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like with me, with just going over a bit of tangent here with Dr. Stone. When Ryusui was first introduced, I initially did not like him, and it only took a few chapters for me to like, okay, I'm on board with this guy.
And yeah, Kama, I think that's a good point. This is kind of like a military job, and they make a pretty good point of the fact that people could be killed by these Mononoke at any time, especially at night. So, I mean, this chapter does serve a purpose in expanding the world a bit.
Yeah. So we have.
Okay, we'll talk about that scene at the end. I'm sorry, Luke, didn't mean to talk.
Oh, yeah. So we have Chio basically explaining to Dora and Kusanagi, is that what you'll say if a Mononoke kills you? First off, most Mononoke attacks happen at night, so got to be ready to go at all times. And this kind of makes sense. Like at night, it would be more emissive for the supernatural energy to increase at night, especially at 3 o'clock, which is also known as the witching hour. So it does make sense that they would be more active at night.
Yeah, I would agree. And I think something in the name also suggests that they're night creatures, but I'm not expert in Japanese, so that might be making stuff up.
It probably does, but again, like you said, I'm no expert as well, so it's probably... What were you going to say?
I was just going to address Ann Arbor's comment. Funny thing you bring up Ryusui in that sense, because actually I really detested Ryusui's early introduction. He just came off as very pompous and like more of a hindrance to the characters rather than being helpful. Like he was literally like getting people to start up an economy just for his own benefit. But I came to like him a lot over time. So in a weird way, your example kind of is the opposite for me.
Yeah. So yeah, we have the Dora question where the Mononoke is, and Chio's like, "Oh, there isn't one. It was a test." And yeah, pretty much just being a troll there. Like got them up, waking them up at 3 o'clock in the morning for nothing, pretty much. Also we're initially led to believe before she leads them into a forest where there's been a number of disappearances and Mononoke sightings, and they're trying to seal off the area and patrolling it, but there's nothing so far. And just now she detected some faint traces of supernatural energy, and if it senses humans, it's bound to come before she immediately just drops to her knees or her butt, as Dora says. And she's like, and he's like, "What exactly happened? A samurai shouldn't be doing that." And she's like, "Oh, my legs gave out." And she tries to reiterate, yeah, she's not a samurai, she's just a regular person, and her legs gave out. But yeah, come on, you're a samurai, you're not fooling anyone.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because she made a whole comment about not liking tests last chapter, but this chapter
she is testing
keeps
them.
testing.
Yeah. Especially how she says, "Now let's see how you protect me," before we get what is said to be a Kujiru, which is basically this like pig monster, like sort of whale type thing. Like,
Yeah.
what is that?
Yamakurijua. That's what they call it. I don't know what that means, and I don't want to really put into Google Translate. But
uh,
yeah, it's probably a pig monster. There's probably some Japanese mythology into it.
and of course, in typical manga fashion, they want to eat humans. They want to eat our crunchy, crunchy bones. I mean,
Hmm.
I mean, come on, we're not breakfast cereals, Yamakujiel. Um, yeah. So it turns out that the Yama pig monster ate Kusanagi, and Chia could tell from its tracks that it was hiding in the ground until it finally came out. But what's surprising her is that the Mononoke, uh, aka Kusanagi, sacrificed itself to save them, and yet Dora just says that's Kusanagi for them. Before Chio actually tries to go and attack the monster, before Dora turns her own comment about being a regular person back on her by saying, "Then don't go for your katana. You're supposed to let us protect you." And then she's kind of contradicting herself here by saying, "You've got to protect me, but you can't do anything on your own. You've got zero supernatural energy. Quit acting tough." And then he's just like, "Oh, okay. I'm just gonna let you be the damsel in distress by basically picking you up in your arms and taking you away."
I
So
mean, I guess in this sense, he doesn't. Oh, sorry, were you gonna say something?
yeah, I was just gonna say, so yeah, she's kind of being a bit contradictory. It's like, I want you to protect me, but I don't but you shouldn't be protecting me. It's like, make up your mind, woman.
Well, in that case, I think she was saying that because she was testing both of them together, but in her mind, Dora can't do anything without any supernatural powers. And I think that's the other thing this chapter is meant to address. Okay, individually, can these characters do stuff on their own? I think that was like the point of this particular chapter coming out. Oh, and also Ann Arbor. I mean, it's good. Thanks for letting us know that you both taste delicious. That'll be good information to keep in mind.
Oh my
And comma, thanks for the clarification on the
oh
demon board thing. I appreciate it.
boar, not bear, not bear. Um, okay, thanks for that clarification. Um, so yeah, like you said, it's probably just the test to see how well they can do it on their own without each other. But I think it's gonna be more. Yeah, but I think it's more of a case of like, yeah, they need each other to kind of like bring out the best of each other.
Yep, pretty much. Oh,
Yeah.
and I
Oh,
did in page 10, I do like how they have the scene where Chio doesn't want to be carried like a princess. I just like these moments that help reinforce, don't worry, they are not a couple.
yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah. All you shippers, go away. We're not having that here. Go,
Not.
go and do it with Gen and Magma from Doctor Stone.
Yeah, people do that.
Yeah, for obvious reasons. But yeah, they basically say, okay, until Kusanagi comes back, let me protect you. Um and Chio's like, come back, and Dora's like, that's right, I believe in Kusanagi. And basically Kusanagi starts pecking at the demon ball from the inside of the mouth, or inside of the stomach. Yeah, it's the inside of the stomach, because it's like scratching its stomach and saying it itchy. So basically, um, Kusanagi can't actually get out of the stomach of this demon pig ball at the moment. So they're basically like, oh no, what do we do? And Dora, no, the pig can make sharp turns, as we see it, like just sharp turning to kind of like catch Chia and Dora as they're running away. And Chia is just basically saying again, "Put me down. You don't stand a chance. You don't have any supernatural energy. One more blow and you're dead." And then Kusanagi like, "Oh, Dora's waiting for me. I've got to help." And he's basically getting an idea in his head of what should actually be done, as he mentions how Dora is really strong and he seems completely unfazed by a Mononoke attack. Actually, it's not that he's unfazed, it's more like the strength of his will is unbendable. So basically, the greatest strength for Dora at this point is like sheer indiscriminable willpower.
Yeah, which isn't particularly unique or interesting. So, yeah,
No, I mean,
I
I
was like,
mean,
okay, that's fine.
yeah, I mean, I believe, does Guts have that from Berserk, or have you ever read Berserk?
I haven't read Berserk yet, but I mean, it's like other Asta has like in like the never give up spirit. You can argue that even Senku and Taiju, like a huge thing in Doctor Stone, is having the will to keep counting for thousands of years is
Oh yeah,
unbendable. So it's
yeah.
for Shonen series having an unbendable will is just kind of like part of the resume.
All right. I guess the more appropriate example would be Ichigo, because it's kind of like Kusanagi is kind of like Dora's Sonpokto, if in a way.
Yeah, that also is good, but we also have Bleach on our mind because of the recent preview.
Yeah, yeah.
But we'll
Which
save that for next time, I guess.
we'll be talking about that in in not the next stream, the stream after. Yeah.
Some of that, yeah.
So yeah, we have the demon boar being attacked from the inside as it spits out. No, I wouldn't say spits out, more like burps out Kusanagi.
Yeah, and Ann Arbor, there's just like a lot of stuff on my backlog. And for this Berserk, I've also been wondering if I should like read the manga straight up or start with one of like the movies. So like series like Berserk and One Piece, like figuring out how to go about the series is kind of what stops me from getting right into it. But I promise I will definitely get into the series. But it's just that every adaptation seems to apparently be trash, except some of the movies I guess are okay. So I promise I'll get to Berserk eventually.
Yeah, I might get to Berserk. I mean, I've tried reading it myself, and I don't know. I don't know. The art style, it's just not my cup of tea. I mean, it's incredible, but it's just not my cup of tea. That's all I can say. I may go back
I mean,
and
I
read
love
it.
it, but yeah, different strokes, different people.
Yeah.
I love dark fantasy. So I'll promise I'll read it and then we can talk about it. All right, Ann Arbor.
Yeah.
And then we have Kusanagi spit out, and I'll be honest, I kind of found this explanation a little stupid. Like they want to tie back in like some of the stuff with mosquitoes, and then he just kind of tickled his way out, and I'm like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
Like, speaking from a medical perspective, you don't have tickle receptors in your stomach. That doesn't work.
I know. I mean, it would have made sense if you had just said, I was pecking him from the inside, because that would have made a lot more sense. Like, I've got to get this out of me.
Yeah, but he tried pecking and that didn't work, but tickling somehow did. And also, Ann Arbor, thanks for the advice. I will read the manga then. I'll just read the manga straight. If you could give me a good source, that would also be nice, because why I can keep up with this Shonen Jump series because I have an app for it. Sorry, Luke, you can keep going. I think the rest is just like the next really cool panel on page 18.
So we have basically Kusanagi saying he just tickled it from the inside, and Dora saying that was clever even though it wasn't. And Chia saying unbendable wills, absolute dedication to saving people, ingenuity. And then we have the boar trying to attack them again, but of course them two being the main characters, they're able to easily deal a fatal blow to it. As Shield continues on saying, and strong fighting skills, those are their strengths. And she once again starts fanboying over them by saying, I'm so, but basically making it about her. So like she's fanboying over them, but basically making it about her by saying, I recruited a redhead punk and a wimpy looking Mononoke. Call it instincts, call it a good eye, call it intuition. Yep, I'm amazing. And yet Dora pretty much summing up what I think everyone is thinking. What a weirdo. And yep, that's the end of the chapter.
Yeah, and so I think the I'm amazing is what Ann Arbor wanted to address. So I'll bring this up. What I liked about this scene is, number one, it was subversive. Because you see this like amazing panel on like page 18, which, my God, I think this chapter wasn't like the super strong, but that panel might be the best thing the series has yet. And then the next thing is the Chio going, I'm awesome. And I'm like, wait, what? I would not have expected that. And second, it kind of just shows her scummy personality. I like characters with scummy personalities. They're fun.
Yeah. And it's like, I'm amazing. You didn't do anything.
Yeah, and it's just a super fun reaction.
Yeah, but I could get why Ann Arbor would find that a bit like annoying. Ann Arbor, if it makes you feel any better, insert yourself as Dora in the series.
Oh, hey, Blazing Boy. I see you there.
Hey, Blazing Boy, I'm here. What's up, y'all? What's up, man? We're just talking about Dora, and in a minute we'll be moving on to Ayashimon. So, yeah, pretty okay chapter, but I really think we need to start moving on to like actually finding out the nature of how this organization actually works in the next chapter.
Yeah, I want like actual plot. That's kind of was my review of this. Good chapter, but enough of these character introductions. We know who these characters are, what they stand for, and they aren't too complex at this point, so there's no need to linger. Let's get to like some overarching villain. Let's get to like the next big threat, or like you said, let's start dealing with the organization. And there's
and like I said, let's move on to overarching threats like what will be happening in Ayashimon, because what's happening there, oh boy. So I guess we should just move on to it quickly now.
I'm just gonna make a note of the time again, but all right, so Ayashimon.
So yeah, as Kami said in the Discord chat, pretty good way to introduce like what I assume is going to be the villain of this arc, like the main villain, Chairman Dupo. I think that's how you pronounce his name.
Yeah, Dopo, I think.
Dopo.
That's how I've been pronouncing it. And Blazing Boy, I don't think either of us have said we don't like Ayashimon. In fact, I think of the brand new series that just popped in, it's the best of them. Has the most promise.
Yeah. Also,
so, I don't know where you got that from.
Also, Blazing Boy, have you been did you actually manage to check out Ayakashi Triangle? And if you did, what do you think of it? But yeah, Ayashimon. So yeah, this chapter.
Yeah. So
go ahead.
So my overall thoughts on this. Oh, sorry. What?
Yeah, no. Go ahead. I was gonna say.
Oh, okay, cool. So my overall thoughts for this chapter is I actually thought that this particular chapter, it was a kind of like on the weaker end compared to the previous chapters, but it was important to establish the villain characters. But I'll get into more detail, I guess, once we get there. But this is very text heavy, so I don't know if I want you to read everything like you usually do, Luke.
No, I'm not going to read everything.
Okay.
Yeah. So cool. we have
So we
have this character Hayashimi. Have we met them before?
Who? Dopo?
No, this character.
Yeah. She's the one we fought at the greenhouse when we went on the border.
Oh, right. Yes, of course.
Come on, Luke, it's only been like 2 chapters.
I know. But hey, give me some slack. I've been working hard last 2 weeks with work and everything, so
yeah.
Slack.
I've been busy too.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically she gets brought up, and I think the interesting thing with this particular thing is that even though she's Hayashime is sticking with this group she's been loyal to for a long time, she doesn't particularly like the new leadership, and the leadership isn't too fond of her, but they kind of have a need for each other. So it's an interesting dynamic. I do enjoy the dynamic.
Yeah. So we have Dopo saying that he received a message from the Oyami Buru about the 2 undocumented entrants, obviously the main characters. And he wouldn't normally care about a little thing like that, but there's something that's bugging him, and it's keeping him focused on his art. Yes, he's an artist, but a really messed up artist, as we'll soon see. Before he goes on to say, remember Shinjuku Goen Greenhouse's big unplanned reservation the other day? The government runs that place. It takes something big to get to them to do anything unplanned. Now, when weird things happen one after the other, he gets suspicious, and Hayashimi is the gate guard, and he's questioning like, do you know anything? And she's like, no, not in the slightest, before we get really creepy. Like that is a creepy image of him just turning around. I
Yeah, wait. So are we gonna read all the dialogue bubbles
no
then?
no no. I was just getting to like just that point of like his creepy face.
Oh,
But yeah,
okay, cool.
so basically, he goes on to say like, "Oh, I'm a fan of horror. I love horror entertainment," which I'm waiting. I'm waiting for the moment where he's like, where he like just creates this like the most messed up horror image he can possibly think of because, yeah, he marvels at the way humans are scare themselves. But um, but he says that he hasn't installed enough fear in Hayashimi, and she's insisting like, oh, that she doesn't know anything. There's no mistake, but he's um quote unquote reassuring her that he's not threatening to kill her or anything when obviously he kind of is. Uh,
Well, that's the thing. He's really not because he acknowledges that death means nothing for the Ayashimon, and I think that that is like an interesting take in this chapter. That these guys who just disintegrate into money and come back, they don't really care about death. That doesn't fear them because 100 years is nothing to come back. So,
yeah,
if anything, the state between life and death is just like the bad part. So, I mean, that's kind of what we get to in the next page. The art.
yeah. Super smart attack. I'm just reading the comments here. Kami, super smart attack, and Blazing Boy. Sometimes they get Ayashimon and Ayakashi Triangle mixed up. Yeah, their names are pretty similar. I can understand
Yeah, he
that.
was saying that he'll watch the anime. I don't think he wants to read the manga, but that's fine.
All right, fair enough, fair enough. But yeah, the next page, pretty much cements how messed up this guy is because it turns out that his art is basically taking 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 Ayashimon and possibly humans themselves and basically making them his art.
Yeah, so here's my thing. I know some people really enjoy these crazy, psychotic villains who are just like ultra evil, and they can be entertaining, but they're not, it's not usually my type of villain. I prefer either like extremely clever villains, extremely like manipulative ones, or like ones that are like kind of sympathetic. Or tactical. Like super crazy villains are just kind of like, I don't know, they're kind of, if they're played for comedic effect, that works for me. But as like the big bad, I'm not super into it, just based on my own taste.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. Yeah, I can kind of see why that might be a turn off for people, but uh, me personally, I sometimes do like just like these crazy over the top kind of like evil for the sake of evil characters. Like you just need that little bit of like comfort of like, okay, they're just evil for the sake of evil type
Yeah, and I
characters
do want to
sometimes.
be clear. I think in this story, this type of villain fits super well. So I applaud the writer for doing it this way because it makes sense. I'm just saying in general, I'm not usually into these kind of characters. And, maybe as we learn more about him over time, I'll come to like him more.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So he basically is saying Hayashimi will be the newest piece in his collection. Lop off her head and tack it onto a painting. And basically, as long as they have money for her to basically use as nourishment, she'll survive and she'll be a living piggyback. See, this is why I said like killing her because that is pretty much a fate worse than death. So yeah, she's still alive technically if that happens to her, but she can't move, she can't walk
Yep.
around, she can't eat.
And
So yeah,
that scares her so much, as we can
yeah,
see in the next couple pages.
yeah. And she says like, I loyally served the Emma Syndicate for ages. Why even Chairman Koyo? And as soon as she says that, he's like, yeah, you better not say that name. Yeah, better not say that name in front of him. Like, you see, this is why I don't. I see his personality as a bit different. It's like it can go from. It's like so all over the place. Like you don't know what he's gonna do next.
Yeah, and that's how crazy villain types usually are, and their unpredictability does add some fun to it. But I think as characters, they're just not as interesting without knowing like how or why they are the way they are. I mean, of course, there's exceptions. Like I would think the Joker's a great exception to that rule. So, but you know, that's like a classic comic villain. So
Yeah, yeah. So after all of this, we have the is it number 11 from last chapter that drops
yeah,
by?
actually, good job. I forgot which number, but yeah, 11.
Yeah, so we have number 11 dropping by and saying, "Hello there, Mr. Dopo. I brought an adamant to
Addendum.
addendum to our discussion yesterday. And he happened to notice that he gathered a whole lot of people outside, and they mustn't start going into street wars, not as a time like this. So yeah, pretty much confirming that the government is corrupt, or the police are more corrupt, when you have number 11 is supposed to be like a police officer getting involved with a guy from a syndicate who basically wants to have creatures as his living art sculptures.
Yep. And I mean, that kind of tells you what kind of world we're dealing with and the morals, which I do
Yeah.
enjoy. I love these kind of moral gray / just completely amoral stories.
Yeah, I do as well. So we have who was this character? What was this character's name?
Yeah, I was trying to think of that too. His name is Mizuha.
Misaha. So yeah, we have Misaha saying, we have
Number 11's the one saying those things. Mizuha just takes a swing at him.
all right, yeah. So we have Dopa saying, "I thought you guys were hands off when it came to beefs between Ayashimons." So yeah, that comment from him kind of like makes me think like, yeah, what exactly is going on here? Because like they're like, okay, we won't get involved with Ayashimons, but now they're getting involved with them. Like, what the hell is going on?
And Blazing Boy. We could do Yozakura next. I was actually thinking of doing Black Clover next since you were here.
I was gonna do Black Clover next because Kami.
Yeah, so for the people in the chat, just like, yeah, let us know, like, what do you want to do next? I was thinking Black Clover, but we could do Yozakura if you guys want.
Yeah. Now I prefer to do because Kami's here, so like we should do Black Clover because since they're both here, yeah.
Sure,
and I think Black Clover is the last one of the series that we read that they read as well. So I think that'll be all right for them if they wanted to go after that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it looks like Black Clover is what we should do. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Okay, so we have Misura, we have number 11 saying, yes, we are, but only to a point, because you could not cause any headaches, and we'd appreciate if that happens. Like, oh, okay, so they're basically saying like we won't get involved with beefs as long as it doesn't affect us, basically.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like the cops can turn a blind eye up until a certain point, and that's kind of makes sense for law enforcement. Yeah. I think what happens next is what. Oh, sorry.
I was going to say like we need to do My Hero as well. Just bringing that.
Well, yeah, eventually. Yeah,
eventually.
Because we forgot Black Hero, My Hero last time. I'm sorry about that, guys. But yeah, let's see. What happens next in page 12 is kind of what confuses me. So, I mean, number one, the fact that Mizo was able to move was surprising to number 11 because, as we learned last week, moving in the barrier is like a big deal because our big sister character, Ura, I believe, Ura was not able to do a thing, but Mizo was able to move, and then so was this other dude. So this might be like a power level kind of thing. And then somehow number 11 gets squashed and then just ends up being not dead. So I'm a little confused. I think it was like a substitution.
Maybe.
Because if you go to page 13, like the very top panel, top left.
Yeah, I can see what you mean. So you have like a silhouette, and then you see number 11 on the ceiling.
Yeah. Like, so I think it was like some kind of substitution thing. I don't know. Like, I'm assuming these barriers, I don't know if they're like domains in Jujutsu Kaisen, which like change rules depending on who's setting up the barrier, or if this is just like his ability, number 11's I don't know.
Yeah, I think it might have something to do with his ability. Like, I think number 11's ability might be to like clone himself. Because
Yeah, it could be.
didn't number 11 and number 4 was number
Yeah,
some
number 4. You got it.
yeah number
No, you got
4
it. Number 4.
because didn't they look? Let me just go and have a quick look at them. See, did they look
Sure.
similar
Number
enough?
four's ability that we know was, well, she used a Shiki against Ura. I don't know if that was an ability or so much as it's like the equivalent of a gun for them. The Oryu.
Yeah,
For, for the
they do look similar. So maybe that's kind of like his ability.
on you. That's it.
Yeah, he can create. Number 11 can create substitute clones of himself that basically represent other aspects of his personality.
I don't know. Well, we'll find out, I guess,
Yeah.
at some point when we have to engage him in a fight. Anyway,
Yeah.
so then they mentioned something about an Aya grudge. It's kind
Yeah.
of, I guess that's a touched upon. Like an Aya grudge is probably like a whole thing here as well.
Yeah.
And
So
then he just leaves the document and goes on his way.
yeah, the two undocumented, and he goes on his way, and then we have Dora, not Dora. It, giving us too many similar names.
Dopo?
Dopo and Dora, because we have Dopo and Dora. We have Dopo in this series, and we have Dora in Doraron.
Yep.
Yeah, so we have basically Dopo, given his thoughts on the two main characters, which are an average-looking guy and some brat. No art of
Yeah.
or fear to no art of fear to either. So basically, giving the typical. Oh, I am gonna underestimate these characters until they actually prove themselves.
Yeah, pretty much. And that's just kind of the course of these things.
Yeah,
I will give Hashime some benefit. She was actually able to avoid saying anything suspicious, at least until like later.
yeah. So we have Dora saying he does feel disrespected, and he reckons that Hashime doesn't think that they're charismatic enough. Before they mention why exactly they don't want to kill her yet.
Yeah, because she has insider information that they might not have, considering she was part of the old regime.
Yeah.
Which, to be fair, I think that's pretty rational of this character. I'm glad he's not completely off his rocker.
Yeah, I'm glad as well. He's he mentions as well that the two undocumented they aren't worth his time, and that Hayashime transferred out of a post at Shujuku Gaya before he goes to actually greet his subordinates. I think they are. I think they are.
Pretty sure they are.
Yeah, and he's like, "Yeah, thanks for coming. Thanks for coming and everything." And he mentions that today's gangsters, like mainlands, they don't follow the code like they should. So many betray us. Even now, as your chairman, it makes him sad, and they've completely forgotten who they must fear. And that's why there are so many idiots who turn against the Emma Syndicate, such as the Todoroki Alliance, which every time it says Todoroki Alliance, I'm half expecting like a Bakugo style character to just show up.
Wait, why wouldn't you just expect Todoroki to show up?
Well, technically,
Todoroki.
Technically, Bakugo's an ally of Todoroki, so I guess he could fall under that Todoroki Alliance banner.
Okay, I guess if you want to look at it that way, I think Todoroki does consider him a friend. But yeah, we have the Todoroki Alliance, Cory Hotels, Beastarks Club, and then of course the police force on
hiding behind the anti-organized crime laws. Which is that meant to be number 11 there in the shadows?
Yeah, pretty sure.
So I'm guessing like if Undead Unluck has taught me anything, it's like, okay, as soon as they're coming up, it's like, okay, we've got the Emma Syndicate arc, then we're gonna have the Todoroki Alliance arc, the Cory Hotels arc. So I guess these are sort of like setting up what the next few arcs are gonna be in the series.
Yeah, and I mean, we did kind of already have these guys previewed already, so it's kind of almost a repetition to almost remind us of these characters, I guess. But I mean, it's good that the story is like revealing its structure to us, because I think a lot of times with series, like take Duraran for like a quick example. When a series starts and they don't give me like, okay, what do I have to look forward to in this series? It kind of like hurts my investment because it's like, well, I don't know where the series is going. How can you expect me to get excited for it? Like I think Neru had that problem, and I think that like hurt it tremendously. And Doran hasn't quite gotten there yet. So I'm glad that Yashiman is just like, okay, here are the big bads we're gonna have to face.
Yeah, yeah. So we have Dora saying that it's time this town remembered who they should fear, which is the Emma Syndicate, and it needs to be respected. And accordingly, they won't even let the tiniest of rats roam free, mentioning the two main characters. So he basically wants them. I feel like what he wants to do with them is like, okay, kill them now before they get any stronger.
Yeah, pretty much. Which, I mean, again, we know our protagonist Maru, he's just gonna like demolish these fodder, and
Yeah,
so, and then
but
we're gonna have
then
Dopo jump in, and then we'll get like a real fight, hopefully.
yeah, I feel like Dopo's ability as well will be like it's sort of like making his like whatever he draws comes to life sort of ability.
Yeah, I could see it like a riddle from Black Clover.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Riddle from Black Clover, or also like Garuk from Ayakashi Triangle. So yeah, we have him announcing the true art of the Ayamashi is fear, and gangsters should be flashy, and so they will be, and this gets everyone being riled up. So I'm expecting like from just that statement, just to have some really flashy like support, like even though they're going to be like subordinates of Ford
Uh,
for Maru, they're going to be like incredibly flashy and everything. Kind of like I want to see a Charlotte Kuhorn type character in this series.
okay, cool. Sorry, I think I cut out for a second, but
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, you did. Yeah. So
okay.
as I was saying, I am honestly looking forward to seeing like how flashy these characters are going to be.
Yeah, me too. Quick question though. I on my screen I'm seeing you, but I'm not seeing the Viz website anymore. I think my internet's back to normal because I think that was on my end. But
Yeah, that's probably
uh,
on you. Right. I'll
are you
yeah,
still
because
seeing it on your screen, the
yeah,
Viz
yeah,
website?
yeah, I can still see it on my screen.
Okay, then that's fine. Just let me know when we switch over so I can write down the
All right.
times, but otherwise it's good.
I will switch it over now. So we'll switch over to Black Clover. Can you see it now?
No, I'm still seeing the swirly screen. I don't know if I want to
Let me
restart anything because I
let me
saw on the stream.
let me
Sorry, everybody.
let me stop sharing the screen, and then click it back up, and then that may come back up for you.
All right.
So
Okay, the screen stop wasn't shared anymore, and then try
yeah,
again.
let's try it again. Black Clover. Has it come back up for you?
Oh yeah, yeah. Thanks.
Oh, you
Appreciate
got
it.
it. Yeah, yeah. So you can see it now.
Yep, I can. We're gonna talk
Oh,
about Black Clover now, guys.
okay. Sorry about the technicality there, everyone. But yeah,
Yeah, that
let,
was on my end. I don't know what my internet did this once before during a live call, but it hasn't been doing it since, so I thought it was over.
right.
So I
So,
apologize if it happens again.
so yeah, Blazing Boy, Ann Arbor, Kami. We're going to be talking about Black Clover now. So get excited.
Okay, so you have the chapter pulled up?
Yeah, I have the chapter pulled up.
Great. So Black Clover. So this was a short chapter, but it was really good.
Yeah,
Because I did not expect this development at all.
no, I didn't as well. So yeah,
But I
start.
think the first thing I want to talk about was like Yuno's like arrow shot. Like, what is he shooting? I wasn't
The
sure what
spirit.
he's shooting.
I guess he's the spirit of Euros. So
Well,
what
yeah,
does
I
he
mean
want?
that's his technique, but like, what did his arrow hit? Like,
Uh,
did he just hit the collapsing like demon
I guess
coalition?
no. I think what he hit was because you see on the first page, you see like the yeah, I think that's where he hit. So like you've got like the clash between the Megazord Black Ball and the Lucifer manifestation, and then you see him, you see something just being obliterated. Yeah, I think that's what it's meant to be. Yeah, because you don't see it in the next panel after that where Asta's looking over it.
Yeah, but I'm also wondering, the reason I brought it up is like, did he need to shoot that? I don't know what that did.
Yeah, but yeah, I've just got to say
Because
something
like
about
Asta was like in the next chapter, like, good job, or just as expected. And I'm like, but what did he do though?
yeah.
I
So
don't know how he helped. I love right now because he's got like a whole arc to him. And actually, on that particular panel, I'm like that Mimosa's still involved because we know that she is now super broken because she can stop people from dying.
yeah, him coming out was literally unexpected, and you know what else is going to be unexpected? Blazing Boy is if we forget some characters' names or what characters have actually done, which is what we've tended to do on these when we talked about Black Clover. So we're sorry, man.
Yeah, Ann Arbor. Thank you. You answered my question. I am really dumb. Yeah, he was stopping the monster from falling on those people. That's why they said, "Whoa, it's coming down," and then he stopped that. Okay. Yep, I'm an idiot. Sorry.
Okay, yeah. But I've just got to say as well, Spirit of Euros. What? No Spirit of Pounds. I mean, I could change the currency. I could change the currency for you. You know, if you want.
I mean, to be fair, the pound, the fact that it even continued to exist after the European Union stuff has always surprised me.
Yeah,
But I guess that doesn't really even matter anymore with Brexit.
yeah. It doesn't really matter anymore. But yeah, enough of talking about currency. So we have Asta and looking over at each other, which is a nice acknowledgement from the adopted brothers.
Yep. I also really love the paneling. I've noticed in Black Clover, they've been having some really good paneling recently. I mean, maybe they've always had it, but I've noticed it especially in the recent chapters.
Yeah, yeah. So we have oh lit it's
Oh,
lit
Euro's a wind god. Okay. Sorry, Luke, what were you saying?
all right. Oh, okay. That makes sense. You're as a wing guard. Okay, fair enough, fair enough. So we have William being caught and him being asked, "Are you all right?" And he's like, "Oh, Partry." Is he saying Partry as in like the name? As in
Yeah,
like
yeah, of course.
Okay. I thought it was something else. I thought it was something else for a second there. And so we have Yami, who is alive and who is alive for now. He's probably going to die in this fight. Oh, what? Who said that?
I mean, a lot of people might die.
Yeah. So
We'll get to that, but a lot of people might die. Also,
yeah,
Langris is kind of salty. He didn't get to do nothing.
I know. I know.
He's like, I came all this way.
He just stole the best part. Yeah. So we have I was saying to the Black Balls, "Oh, good work, you idiots!" And everyone is fine. Everyone is fine and dandy. It's going a little bit too. It's going a little bit too fine and dandy for them. By saying, "Man, things are about to get really busy." Yeah, you don't say.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when I was first reading this, I was thinking to myself, okay, I'm kind of interested to see what the Spade Kingdom will develop into, and then we get the page turn.
Yeah, then we get the page turn of this like
We don't know his name as far as I'm aware.
So I get
He's just
the
some supreme devil of sorts.
Supreme Devil. I'm just trying to think like those horns remind me of something. I'm trying to pinpoint where I've seen a character with horns like that before. I'm just trying to pinpoint where I've seen them.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
Hmm.
But anyway, he comes out and saying, "What are you people dawdling for? You should really get out of here."
Yeah.
And then for a second, I thought like he was going to be the big problem.
But
But
no,
then they say,
there is an even
"Oh my
bigger
God,
problem.
Lucifero's manifestation is
It's
half
half
finished."
finished. And we see Lucifer just like rising up, and pretty much demonstrating exactly why he is the big bad of the second part of Black Clover. Because as soon as he says like, all of you, I want to do it in my most devilish demonic voice ever. All of you, bow your heads. And
Yep.
everyone,
and just like the artwork, just of him pointing his hand down, a black panel, and then
just we see just like everyone except Asta just like dropping down. And of course, the reason why Asta obviously doesn't drop down is partially because he's the main character, so he can't do that. But also,
I thought he was like just too far away at the time.
But no, he can't be, because if you look where he is, he's in the vicinity as well. Because you see, like,
I think he's flying towards them, though. I think that's what the perspective shot was on page 12.
Okay, I guess it's because he
was all the way in the mountains when he did the equinox strike.
Yeah, and I think as well because he's not directly on the ground. That's kind of like another reason why.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, when I first saw that, I thought maybe his anti-magic protected him to some extent, but we'll see. And Ann Arbor, I also love the speech bubbles. It's very stylized.
Yeah, very, very like a demonic sound. Like, can you imagine how that's gonna sound when the anime comes back?
Oh my god, I still wonder how the anime is coming back. That's like a whole thing.
Yeah, that's like whole thing. But
but I do hope this Beta arc gets adapted. It's really good.
Yeah, the chapter ends with Lucifer saying, "So it was you, the fool who kept me from manifesting completely." And Lucifer just appears by Asta, and Asta's just giving that face of like, when did he appear? He's giving that face of like, when did he appear here?
So, well, first, Blazing Boy, go ahead, share your predictions. Yeah. But for me, Lucifero, like, I knew he was going to come back at some point. He's too important to not, but I was not expecting him to, like, apparently half manifest in the next chapter. Because, like, at this point, I don't even know where this could go from here. Because, like, we already have him here.
My only guess is that where it could go from here is that, because you see Libe, Asta's adopted brother, Asta's foster brother.
You got it right. It's
Libe on his shoulder. My guess is that Lucifer is gonna steal him from Asta.
Oh yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, because Lucifer is like
that would suck.
The king of demons, so it makes sense like all demons would manifest from him, so he could easily just like, oh, you've got a devil there, like, oh, I'll take him back, and possibly even take Natch's demon devils back as well.
That's a good point, because he has done that in the flashback. He manifested through Libe before when he was with Asta's mom. And yeah, Nox devils are there too. Oh my god, I just thought of that.
And the gate. I
could like, if Nox would be useless, then that would be a great way to like reduce their powers for a little bit. That's a pretty good prediction.
Yeah, as for Lucifer, I think Libe will push him back into the underworld as the gates are closing, and we'll lose Libe, and he's stuck in the. Yeah, so we're basically on the same page here, pretty much. That Asta is gonna lose Libe. I love how Luke's trying to pronounce Natch's name. I'm trying to pronounce it so that Blazing Boy does not get angry at me for mispronouncing it.
I mean, to be fair, I think Nacht is a German word, so it's not going to be easiest to pronounce. I think
my other prediction as well might be that because Lucifer is the king of devils and represents like darkness or the darkness of the world, he might actually steal Yami's magic as well.
Oh, yeah, that's true, because Yami's still alive, and your early prediction was he was going to take over Yami. That could still happen.
Yeah, that could still happen, but if that doesn't happen, I'd honestly, okay, if Tabata doesn't want to kill off Yami, if Tabata doesn't want to kill him off, the next best thing would be that Lucifer steals his magic. So like Yami does not have magic at that point.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I'm very excited right now for Black Clover. And just to address some comments, Ann Arbor, I have to say that on page 11, I think it was 11. Oh yeah, sorry, no, page 10. I think Lucifer's design is actually pretty good. It's drawn in a very creepy way, like he's made of wood or something, but I think it enhances his disgusting evil nature. So I don't know, I kind of like it. And as for Blazing Boy, to address your thing, I think your prediction is a pretty interesting one because that would bring us to like an arc where the Black Bulls would need to train and then travel to the underworld and then possibly fight devils instead. And we have some of the seals already open, I think, from Morio. So instead of preventing the seals from opening, we could start like prying them open.
So we might get a underworld arc.
Yeah, so that would be a great way to jump in to like the next thing. And I think you had an earlier prediction. I think Marileona and Fuego with a possible spirit dive to battle second gate. Since Leo has ultimate magic, he can finish the second gate devil, so that's possible. Oh, okay, yeah, I forgot about the siblings, but that'd be cool because they were kind of sidelined. I think Fuegelion had like the weakest comeback so far, so it would be nice to see them working together.
Yeah, and on that page, he reminds me of the one angel of Seven Deadly Sins. If you say so, I've never read Seven Deadly Sins, but in terms of angels, like I'm predicting like at least one of the enemies at some point has to be angels.
Apparently, people are really mad at your pronunciation.
I am sorry, guys. I am sorry. I am sorry. I am sorry. I have a. If it makes you feel better, even I have a hard time saying my full name sometimes.
Yeah. So let's see. I think if they need to come now. Oh, if angels exist. Oh yeah. If angels exist, I would love to see them in the next arc because I mean we already have devils. Might as well bring in the angels.
So yeah,
that would be cool.
That's pretty much everything I had to say on Black Clover. It was short but sweet chapter.
Yep, definitely a good chapter. Again, I feel like a lot of chapters this week, though, they got spoiled for me on Twitter, so I would be way more hype if it wasn't, but it is what it is. That's how the internet works.
Don't even get me started on spoilers because I'm going to see tomorrow Spider-Man and somebody already spoiled somebody already gave me a major spoiler of it. I'm like, oh come on, man.
Yeah, I kind of like stopped trying to keep up with Marvel, but yeah. Let's see. We did Doran, Ayashimon, Black Clover. Do you want to do? Oh yeah, One Smart says Black Clover was his favorite for the week. That's understandable. Okay. It was a good chapter.
That is understandable.
I don't know what my favorite is. I'm still thinking on it.
Yeah. So I guess we could talk about Mission Yotsukura Family now since
Blazing Boy wanted to do that one.
Wanted us to talk about it, so we'll do that. Let me get it up.
Yeah, we're trying to be better about like getting you guys the chapters you want to see.
Yeah. And we're moving quite nicely at the moment in terms of the time. We're only an hour in, and we're at the fourth series. So yeah, doing pretty good so far.
Yep, that we are. Okay, so Yozakura then. This was an interesting chapter.
Yeah, this was, to say the least, an interesting chapter to say the least. Yeah, so basically starting off from the end of the last chapter where we have Tsubumi. What was the name of the fifth head of the Yosakura family again? I need to get a reminder on that one.
Yeah, I don't really remember either.
Let me
you can pull that up.
It was Lady something. Lady Steward, that was it. Lady Steward. Yeah, which again, funny enough, she doesn't have the Yosakura in her last name. That just really bugs me up. But yeah, so the
weird thing is, you would think that because it's a matriarchal thing, based on what we've seen so far, the heads would like normally people would get their husband's last name, but I mean, if you're going for like the wife's last name, that really shouldn't be changing. So I don't know.
Yeah. So we have Tsubumi saying to Lady Steward, "You talk too much after everything I went through, the trouble of resurrecting you with my blood." And she says, "Yeah, clinging to life in such an ugly manner isn't my nature." And we have all the reactions of all the Yosakuras minus Tayu, because this is basically the first time they're meeting Tsubumi for real, pretty much.
That is true. Yeah.
Yeah. And I've got to say, like, Tsubumi, if continued done well, she might turn out to be one of my like favorite recurring villains.
We'll see. I mean, I'm a little confused on her motivations, to be honest, but and we can talk about
I
that a
think,
little more later.
yeah, yeah, we'll talk about it a little more later when we actually find out more about like how she operates the family itself. But yeah, we have Shino saying, "I'll take command of the mission. Nano, you see to Mutsumi," and they're mentioning that Mutsumi's temperature is continuing to rise, and they see the cherry blossoms, and we get Tsubumi saying, "The ties that bind Mutsumi and I together have been awakened. I am a great tree, but eventually I too will wither away. In order to rejuvenate my aging and declining body, I need an extraordinary reboost and for Brant fertilizer." So I think what her motivation is that it's kind of explained here. Like she wants a new body, pretty much, to keep her alive and to keep rejuvenating her. And I think the fact that over the years, a lot of the heads of the Yozako have kind of like gone away from that ideal, because we have Lady Stewart who like doesn't care about her, and who's to say like the sixth and seventh, because we know the eighth and the ninth head, which are Mutsumi's mother and grandmother. We already know about them. They were all kind of like, "Yeah, we don't want anything to do with you, Tsubumi," and that kind of like got her enraged. Like, okay, if you're not gonna accept me, I'm gonna basically force you to accept me, kind of thing.
I guess, but then didn't she also reach out to Tayo to like stop this from happening?
Hmm. Yeah,
So it's like my understanding is like are there like multiple like versions of her in like the different heads like telling different things? I guess my thing with their character is it feels a little inconsistent, but that might be because there's different versions of Tsubumi around.
that could
Like maybe
that
the reason Momo, for example, is acting so different from I forgot his name, Kawada, the
yeah,
guy. Yeah,
the
the
doctor.
reason he right, the reason he might have been acting very different is because Tsubumi gave him different instructions versus what she gave Tayo. So I don't. I'm a little. Tsubumi's a very like non-concrete character for me right now, but
Yeah.
she's a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, I feel like that could be in the nature because of like her being a tree or everything and everything, and like you have different roots being planted. So like there's like different seeds of her personality coming in, mixing in with kind of like the personalities of the other heads of the Yosakura family.
That could also be true. Could be like different versions of a sprouted in the different heads. Oh, and I just wanted to include what I really liked about this particular set of pages, pages like 3 and 4, is like this explains why their power is called blooming. And I was like, oh man, that's actually
Yeah,
really clever.
that's really clever. So it's like the blooming of a flower, and bear fruit, as in like bear fruit, as in the children. Like when they say, "I want my child to bear fruit."
Yep, exactly. So there's actually a lot of clever things this story is set up. I do appreciate that, even if I'm very confused on the villain, but
And
it's
that's
fine.
why I planted my specially made seeds into yours. So yeah, that basically might be the case of like, okay, they she planted the seeds into the Osako family, but it kind of like got mixed in with the personality with what develops into the personalities of the Osako heads. So it's kind of like a battle between between the Tsubumi in the heads of the Yasuko for like who wants to be in control or anything like that, and like maybe that's what she was meaning to Taya when she was like she wants to stop that, she wants to stop them fighting against her to kind of accept her because she wants to kind of like get them all under her control, basically.
Could be. I guess right for now, I'm as Tsubumi as a villain isn't super like hitting for me, but I appreciate what she's doing for the story at the very least.
Yeah. So then we have a saying that she would harvest them, and she may have failed that day, but she did successfully engrave those bonds onto Mutsumi at that time, and threads so fine that they couldn't be seen, yet so strong they couldn't be cut. And she mentions she lost her chance and was wasting away and need to be restored through Momo, the Doctor, and the descendants, the family heads, people whose names I did not know, who become my subordinates. And she was thoroughly watering a little bit. So again, keeping with the whole tree theme here.
Yep, that's why we've been also making a bunch of tree puns ourselves.
Yeah.
So I mean, it works. Family trees.
Oh my god! I just finally got that now. Family tree. Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, this series, like every series has its themes. Doctor Stone, science. This series, family. So, yep.
Yeah. So she's saying that now that Mutsumi is ripe, she can take that child into her through those roots, and basically says Mutsumi was born for Tsubumi and would die for her, basically. And this shocks everyone. So, and we finally get to see what Koichi's response to it is as well. It's very like sombering.
Yep. Everyone's pretty upset, but I think what really surprised me is that the fifth head was able to react. I was like, oh wait, I thought you couldn't move, but that she had a chance to do that. So that was a nice moment for her before she disappeared.
Yeah. So she mentioned. So we have Lady Stewart mentioning to them like preoccupied with talking and absorbing. Thanks to that, I was able to move again. Yeah. So basically, monologuing backfired.
Yep. It's always a fun subversion of the trope. It's like you were just kind of spending this time talking.
Yeah.
Then, so basically, the fifth head tells them to go fight the other heads, which is kind of what I expected, but it's nice to have that established of why we should go about doing that.
Yeah. So maybe once they defeat the heads of the family, that kind of that will kind of like make Tsubumi wither away more until she's finding more like a rotting tree that can't rejuvenate anymore, basically.
I mean, like it's a shonen series. I'm pretty sure they'll get close to that, but then she'll get like some final form. They have to go fight because that's how this works.
Yeah. So we have Lady Stewart saying destroy them all, and we have including Mutsumi there. So like, is Mutsumi gonna be like Tsubumi's final form?
It could just be. I mean, I was thinking last week. She's awakening as like one of the heads of the family, having those roots awaken, so she could very well be taken over by the end.
And that will be like really like shattering for Tayo, because like basically going back to the beginning of the series, like he didn't want to get involved with Mutsumi to begin with because he didn't want to have that burden of losing a loved one again, and now it's dangerously close to him losing like pretty much the love of his life, basically.
Yep, exactly. And I think additionally, a lot of people were thinking she was going to awaken superpowers, like her own abilities, because of the blooming. So I'm interested to see if that'll happen.
Yeah,
because I'm a little uncertain if what happened near the end, but I guess we can clarify near the end.
Yeah, I could possibly see that happening as well. Which makes the question like, is Tsubumi going to be like the final end game villain of the series?
I mean, it feels like she almost has to be, because I know we talked about like international spy stuff that we could do, but it feels like, this is the big thing the series has been building up. So
unless unless they have unless Tsubumi gets another plan, like they come close to defeating her, but then she's like, "Haha, fooled you! I'm gonna take over the aunts and uncles of all the like the other descendants, because there has to be like aunts, uncles, great aunts, great great aunts, and that as well."
could be, and I don't think that'll necessarily extend the story too much because she's still the final boss.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I guess we'll just have to wait and see, like exactly how long the author wants to make the series go on for.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, we have Tsubumi saying, "As long as Mutsumi is here, I don't need anything else. Everyone return back to my room." As we see their strength be basically sapped by her roots, and she's absorbing all their somiya. So yeah, pretty much exactly what I thought was going to happen. Like she was going to absorb the abilities of the Yosakura families, like the Bloomings.
Yep, it does seem like that's what she's doing. I did like the metaphor of returning to the womb.
Yeah, yeah.
That is pretty funny.
Let's see. Is anyone comment? No, no comment. No new comments.
Doesn't look like it, but that's
Yeah.
fine.
So we have them being warned and everything that their lives are in danger, and Tayo's basically debating of like what should they do, because saying like destroy all the heads basically means he has to destroy Mutsumi as well. Before we have Mutsumi saying through the ring, Tayo, run away, don't worry about me. If everyone is safe and sound, then that's good enough for me. And this basically makes Tayo go Super Saiyan.
Yeah, it's basically a power of love strengthens me kind of moment, which okay, sure. Why not?
Okay, yeah, the power of love is cliche, but it's a series about family. I think we can let it slide.
Yeah, that's kind of how I'm going. And I'm willing to just accept it because the art's really awesome too.
Mm-hmm.
Art just went really hard.
Yeah. So we have Tsubumi mentioning how Tayo severed the roots with the profuse blooming of 10,000 flowers, and we see him going to attack Tsubumi as we get flashbacks to the beginning of the series. Like that's like we have that flashback of like Mutsumi being in disguise from chapter 1, which is a nice touch there, and we realize that it's not Tayo that's been protecting Mutsumi, but the other way around. And he's like, this time he will really carry out the oath he swore that day, as we have him using Amateur's 2 brilliant bloom before Tsubumi's like, psych, we'll meet again.
Yep. So that's kind of just what happened there, and then Mutsumi just gets better, I guess, because of it for some reason.
Yep.
I'm not sure exactly how that happened, but I guess we just weakened her enough. Yeah, because that's what happened. Isn't it the end? They just weakened her.
It just weakened her enough to the point that she had to disappear. So it's like, fine, I'll let you go for now. And I love the fact that we don't have Koichiro saying anything in the chat. So maybe, just maybe, he might put his animosity towards Tayo away, because it's like, yeah, Tayo's the only one that could protect Mutsumi now.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, the chapter just kind of like then ends with basically Tsubumi saying that she'll be back effectively.
Yeah.
And that's a good threat, but so I guess we just are going to go after each of the heads now. We just finished like a quote unquote serious set of chapters, so probably some slice of life stuff is next.
Yeah. Well, we've just done it with Kengo, how we've had like the ancestor that looks like the head that looks like him. So maybe we might get Shion next, considering she's the most popular character at the moment.
Yeah, I think either Shion or Shinzo. I think one of them.
Yeah, we might get her next.
Be the next thing, and then we'll find a head that looks and or acts like them.
Yeah, and then we've also got to deal with the head that looks and acts like Korichiro, which I am dreading what they act like.
Yep. Oh man, that's gonna be like they're gonna be like super possessive.
Yeah. Maybe that's
Oh man.
maybe that's who Tsubumi is supposed to represent, Korichiro, because like
You
she's
know,
pretty possessive.
I have heard that because like I think I've mentioned to you the theory is that like each of the heads like in order of the births, you know, except for of course Mutsumi, the mom and grandma. I think that goes up
Yeah.
to like seven. We've seen like parallels based on the order of when they were born, and if what's her name?
Um.
This
Na-
what's the
Nana,
big sister's name again?
uh, the big
Futaba,
sis,
right?
Futaba. Yeah, Futaba.
Yeah, okay, so Futaba, like we've seen the second head looks like her. So it could be just like Tsubumi in her like weird possessive way is also like Kyoichiro's possessive way, which maybe like his character arc will come in through facing with Tsubumi. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Well, also as well, like the tree roots and how they control, kind of like the strings that he has as well.
Yeah, could be. We didn't really see the fifth head having any like major powers other than just like oh and no, her thing was transforming stuff. I
Yeah,
remember. So
which
yeah,
makes
that does
sense for
match
Kengo.
Kengo's.
Yeah, disguises.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
so could be, yeah. Then I guess
but
then if we have a Shion, like the Shion head will probably have something with technology, I would assume. And then Shinzo's, of course, head's going to be just like a weapon freak.
yeah. But my thing as well is on the last panel we have the second head saying like the roots of the five rings have been shattered. No, this is Tsubumi saying it. The roots of the five rings have been shut. Like, what are the five rings?
Five rings. Wait, on the picture of all the heads of the family, how many were there?
There was okay, one, two. So we have four of them plus Mutsumi, so that's
So
five.
maybe those are the five rings?
I'm guessing
So like
possibly.
we know the second head prob I don't know if they're one of them, but then we have like okay, so if we ignore the grandma and the mom, um, and then Mutsumi, that leaves us with like what, six heads? Oh yeah,
Yeah,
actually no wait, Mutsumi's one of them. So let's see, that's like four. Okay, and then obviously not Tsubumi herself. So does that add up? I'm not sure if I'm doing math correctly today. Hang on. Second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. We already fought the fifth. We know the second. And then we have like seven, eight, and nine are Mutsumi, her mom, and grandma, right?
yeah.
Okay, so let's see. One, two, three. Okay, so
So
that leaves
I
three. So
guess
there's like two more of those could be,
yeah.
but there's
I
like three
guess we
more
don't
numbers.
count. I guess we don't count Tsubumi as one of them. And so then that's number one. Then number
Do we count
seven,
two? That's the question. If we don't count two, well, actually, no, we do. We
two,
can count two
three,
because she was
four,
guarding.
5, 6. Yeah. We
So we,
should count 2 to 6. Yeah, we should count 2 to 6 as the five rings.
yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. So yeah, that is the end of the chapter with Tsubumi basically saying that there's no reason to fret. Mutsumi will always be in her reach. So yeah, I think next chapter we're gonna have some. I think we're gonna have like a little bit of a post-traumatic stress chapter next in the next one.
Yeah, but they'll probably frame it in like a happy way in the beginning, like they did with the Kingo chapter.
Yeah. So uh, so maybe it will be like Shion will be like, oh, everything's happy, and she's just absorbed in the game, fearing that she could have done something a little bit better to prevent what had happened or something like that.
Could be, or she could be super stressed trying to find the other heads because right now the way they're finding them is through her technology. So I could see her being overwhelmed in that respect.
Yeah. Or here's the thing: if Tsubumi is not going to be like the final end game boss, then it has to be Momo. Then
Yeah, that's true. We forgot about Momo for a sec,
yeah,
did we?
yeah. So if Tsubumi's not like if say Tsubumi gets defeated, right? Then because Tsubumi pretty much created Momo, didn't she? I think that was pretty much established.
Yeah, it has.
So maybe once that's happened, like Momo will transfer Tsubumi's conscience into him.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We haven't seen Momo in a while.
Yeah, we haven't. So yeah, anyway, Mission of Sakura Family, pretty good chapter, all things considered, and just really looking forward to finding out what the next stage of the story is.
Yep, exactly. Which is probably just going to be fighting another head.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, I think we can. I think after that we should just move on to talking about Blue Box. Get that one out of the way.
Yep, sounds good to me.
So yeah, let me get it. Let me get it up quickly. You got it up?
Yep, I have it up. And I'm just marking the time. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so basically continuing on from the last chapter, we have Taki and Hina at the fireworks festival, and Chia seeing
Chinatsu.
Chinatsu seeing them and saying like, oh, and everyone commenting like, oh, aren't those the first years from the school? Do you think they're on a date? And Chinatsu basically getting jealous of Hina because she's in a yukata and her hairstyle is so cute. And I've got to say, this line made me laugh where they said, "Oh, to be young again, we're young too."
Yeah, but I kind of understand that because even like in my 20s, sometimes I'm like, oh man, the values of youth.
Yeah.
So it's kind
of
weird when you get to that point in life.
Yeah. So I guess we've got to say like this chapter, it did throw a curveball into what you were saying, because you thought last chapter it was going to be like a love confession and it wasn't going to be heard, but no, it kind of went in a different direction.
Oh yeah, I mean, if we're getting all the way there, yeah, basically, I thought it was going to go that cliche route. Instead, it's more like she heard it, that he called her cute, and then the fireworks happened at like just the opportune time when the character wasn't going to like delve too much into it. So yeah, I mean, I'm glad it didn't mess up. So that's one point for the chapter. But of course, otherwise, it kind of fell into the trappings I kind of expected. I think one of the nice things I enjoyed about this chapter is Hina being a little self-conscious and like kind of understanding, or sorry, not understanding, but kind of like the line she has on like page, I'm skipping up to 7, where she says, I want him to see me, but also not see me. Like she put on a version of herself that she wants Taki to recognize. I thought that was a good line.
Yeah, and I feel like
Blue Box always has like one line where I'm like, okay, that was good.
Yeah, and I feel like it's because as well, like it's kind of like a thing like she's not felt before for Taki, and therefore she kind of doesn't know how to handle it, even though some people as outsiders would be like, just be honest about yourself, but at the same time, yeah, she's not felt this way before because it's kind of a bit new for her. Like she's never really dressed up like this, and she's worried like how badly it will get messed up. So and yeah, kind of a big deal for her, because it's like, yeah, she's a bit embarrassed about it, like never dressed up before, and worried that she looked weird, which I think a lot of people can relate to as well.
Yep. That is fairly relatable, unlike a lot of things in this series.
Yeah. And I love the fact that we get to see what happened from Hina's perspective of when Koyu said, oh, I've suddenly dropped out. And then she's like,
oh yeah, they did give a quick thing about that. I was kind of hoping she would say something like, oh man, Kyo, he totally gave me this opportunity. But it seems like she's also oblivious to the fact that Kyo did this on purpose.
Yeah, it's
because our characters are stupid.
Yeah, he obviously did this on purpose.
Like, they're just like, oh, but then Kyo suddenly dropped out. It's like, it's not like he did this on purpose. Oh my god.
I'm waiting for the moment where they go back and they just see him like walking around happy go lucky. They're like, we thought you were sick, and then he just like bails.
That would be funny. I still want him to do that somehow.
Yeah, it probably won't happen. Like he'll probably be like, okay, great, they're at the fireworks festival. I'll just nip out and get myself a snack, and then they're coming back. And he's like, oh crap, they're coming this way, and they're like, Kyo, like, yes, aren't you meant to be sick? Nope, I was. Nope, yes, I am, and he just legs it.
Yep. I hope something like that happens. I kind of just want him to show up and be like, okay, forget about me for a second. Why did you do the dumb thing you just did? Because I mean, we'll get to that near the end. But
Yeah,
that's
we
what I'm
will
expecting him to come out for.
Yeah, we'll get to that in the end. So we have them sitting down to watch the fireworks and saying like, "Oh, we have another 10 minutes. Would you do you need a drink?" And yeah, Taki says, again, okay, I love the fact that Taki is not a complete idiot.
Yeah, he's like, okay, something's definitely up with him. He's like using his brain to a little big extent.
Yeah, so he's not a typical dumb shonen protagonist. That
he's very, very close.
Yeah, very close, but at the same time, even he's not Ichigo level dumb in terms of like, okay, well, I wouldn't say Ichigo is dumb, but like dumb in the sense of like,
yeah, no, I know what you mean.
Yeah. Okay, I'll say Deku more because Deku is kind of oblivious to like Uraka.
Yeah, we'll talk about Deku when we get to My Hero.
Yeah. So we have a mosquito coming in and basically again, it's always the mosquito. It's always the mosquito. No matter any situation, the mosquito will always escape and everything.
Oh, actually, yeah, you're right, because we had that in Duroran, and those One Punch Man from way before then. Oh man, yeah, this one mosquito is like the crossover in the Shonen Jump universe.
I know. I am waiting for a chapter in Witch Watch to mention like, why is it always a mosquito that ruins everything?
You know, they should do that at this point.
Yeah. So we have basically Hina getting bitten and Taki saying, "Oh, hey, you want me to use the anti-itch cream?" And yeah, again he's like, "Okay, yeah, this is a bit more awkward than I thought for you be," and like, yeah, you're making it more awkward than it needs to be. So, but he mentions that the little bit of her hair I love the fact that he's getting details that I don't think she would pay much attention to. So like a little bit of her hair comes loose, and okay, yeah, and this is where he kind of like clicks of like, did you do your hair yourself, Hina? And this is like kind of gets an idea that like, oh, he actually noticed me doing her hair. So yeah, again, not a complete dumbass.
Yeah, I will say like the back of the neck thing, like I thought that was a nice connection to when he was thinking about looking at Chinatsu's neck after wearing a yukata. It's like a very specific thing that Taki's into. And two, the hair thing, I was a little surprised by that, just because, I mean, like something I've learned over time is that, you know, girls, of course, put a lot of time into their looks and they enjoy being acknowledged for that stuff. But I usually do not recognize those things because I'm like, I don't know what your normal hair looks like. But I guess in this case, Taki sees her every day, so he can appreciate the extra effort she put in. So that was a nice moment for his character.
Yeah. So Hina's like, oh, why did you ask about that? And he's like, oh, I'm surprised you have such a delicate touch. And she thinks he's making fun of her. But he's like, no, not at all. It's and then he's like, oh, I'm impressed by that. And yeah, Hina, he's complimenting you. Take a compliment.
Yep. She really just had to learn to take a compliment, which I'm still surprised he was able to do even that much. But I also like how Taki, like he was mostly just like acknowledging that just for girls in general, more so than just Hina. So, I mean, it's a step in the right direction, but he still doesn't have any feelings developed yet.
No, he doesn't. But this is when he says it's not easy to do, but you've worked hard at it, and basically gets as much of a confession as he knows is going to get at this point in the series. It's by saying, "I thought it looked cute, so I was giving you a compliment," and then it's like this is where it clicks to him, like, "Oh, I actually said cute." And then she's demanding he says it again, but of course the fireworks start. So the fireworks being the that word I cannot say on YouTube, blocker.
Oh,
You know the word I'm thinking of.
okay. Well, let's just not say anything.
Yeah, let's not say anything. Yeah,
Yeah, we get the.
and we get Taki actually acknowledging like, oh, the fact that I called her cute made her look so happy, and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna go to the bathroom, and he is like, say, he said
For the bathroom break again, he was thinking to himself, "Girls." So again, he was just acknowledging that the girls just like compliments. That's where his mind is right now.
Yeah, but to Hina, it's kind of like a big deal for her. It's like, yeah, he actually acknowledged me, so even if it wasn't directly towards you, but I guess that she'll take that over not being acknowledged any day. And then we have Taki trying to find his way to the bathroom, and I love the fact that even though he was like being a bit like, okay, yeah, girls like that, they think it's cute, he's still thinking about Hina in this, and like wondering if she would want anything since he's on his own, and like maybe I should buy a drink before he sees Chinatsu finding a little girl, and saying, pain go away, because the little girl was lost and fell down, and yeah, let's get you to the aid station and put a band-aid on you. And this is where they actually meet at the festival, and that's where the chapter ends.
Yeah. So here's my thing. Why is there someone pointed this out with an anime I'm watching called World's Greatest Assassin Reborn as a Noble or whatever, but there's always a lost child in these like romantic encounters. Like if you watch ReZero, right?
I have not watched ReZero, but
okay, never mind that example.
There was a lost child in Kaguya-sama Love is War.
Okay, yeah. So like there's always like just like a random lost child that just shows up in the middle of these things, and the couple has to be like, we're gonna go find you and be like your surrogate parents to give the readers the idea of, oh, we would make a good partners and parents someday.
Yeah.
And again, I'm just like, man, wow, really?
And again, I'm waiting for something like that to happen in Witch Watch, because they'll poke fun of that trope.
Yep. Yeah. I would hope so. Because like when Witch Watch, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, because it'll probably be if it's not Mo and Nico, it'll be Wolf and Nemu doing this. They'll probably be like, why the hell do kids always get lost at these festivals? This is ridiculous.
And what I was gonna say is, wait, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, no, I remember what I was gonna say. In Witch Watch, it's gonna like just turn out that the child is just gonna be a very important plot point later down the line. But here, it's just like, this is just like a random kid that we're never gonna see again, because they just have to be lost and crying, and then of course our protagonists are there to save the day. But the other thing I want to acknowledge here is that, as expected, we had a nice moment with Hina, and now Chinatsu has to come into the picture. Yeah, and then she's going to find them, and things are going to get awkward, and then it'll ruin everything. And that's when I expect Kyo to actually show up. He's going to be like, Taki, what were you doing? You were this close. Yes. And then he's like, wait, dude, I thought you were 6. Like, that's not the point right now.
Yes. Oh, my God.
He's like, you know what? I'll just go to, or, he could just show up and take the kid. Like, if he sees, like, he's not about to find them, he's like, hey, Taki, I'll take the kid. I'll find the parents. Don't worry. Just go.
Or maybe he's like, he finds the kid. Maybe it would be funny if Koi actually knew the kid. Like, he would, like, the kid was like a child of someone he knew, and he's like, "Oh, there you are. Oh, your parents are over here. Taki, come with me."
Yeah. Oh man. So I hope next chapter ends up being fun because I'm just expecting some of that nonsense drama that
Yeah,
these stories need to have for whatever reason. Um, but then, once we get past that, the festival will be over, and then I don't know when the story will go from there.
yeah. I don't know where the story will go from there as well, and also as well, like I'm surprised. I'm surprised. Well, I'm not. I'm surprised, but not surprised that Blue Box was on Roger Space's manga stream.
Sorry, what?
Yeah, I'm surprised, but not surprised that Blue Box was on Roger Space's manga of the year. But even more surprised that it did as well as it did. Basically,
Wait, did it do that well? Because it lost to Dr. Stone, I remember. But
yeah, but
like, wasn't it like round one?
no, it was no. I think it was round. Let me quickly go and have a quick look.
Okay, go ahead.
Uh,
But I'm almost certain it lost to Dr. Stone round one. Which,
Archers.
I was just gonna say, if Blue Box just beat Dr. Stone, I was just gonna like just rage quit immediately.
Yeah, I
Because
would have.
like,
I would have rage quit. I would have rage quit as well.
because
Even
like I mean, it was surprising even how close it was. Because I mean, I started Blue Box because I've heard so
oh
many good
yeah,
things about it.
yeah. Doctor Stone was with Blue Box, so yeah, it was lost in the first round. But yeah, yeah, that's another series. Like, it was a bad matchup for Blue
It
Box.
was, but at the same time, I still think. I mean, you can say Blue Box was one of the best just because a lot of people really enjoyed that series, and just like I guess, Elusive Samurai. But I think even then, it's still pretty weak as a whole compared to like some of the really big series.
Yeah,
It's just like Yozakura. I don't think Blue Box, Yozakura, Elusive Samurai, and a couple other series that were on that list were even going to make it that far to begin with. So I guess I'm not surprised they made it there because it's selling really well, but I am surprised that. Well, then again, I'm also surprised Kaiju number 8 went as far as it did, but people really like Kaiju number 8.
yeah, they do.
I watched a YouTube video today of someone talking about how much they love Kaiju 8, so. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's all I've really got to say about Blue Box. Again, it was an okay chapter, and I just really want more shenanigans. I really want Koi to show up and give more shenanigans.
Yeah. And what I want is for them to at least there's going to be drama, but at least have some more fun that goes along with the drama. Because it's super cliche right now.
Yeah, yeah. Um, but yeah, I think now we might as well move on to My Hero Academia, because then
Sure.
we've got Witch Watch, Ayakashi, and then Doctor Stone.
Sounds good to me.
Right, so My Hero Academia. Now, before we start, I, before we start, just really want to say this quickly. Seems like we're moving into the final battle because of what Horikoshi said on Twitter or at Jump
Okay,
Fest.
wait,
That
did you?
I just want to say quickly that next year might be the final year for My Hero.
I mean, here's the thing though. Did you read the tweet that I posted on like Discord?
No, I
Uh,
didn't.
okay, well, basically, yeah, he did. They expanded on that quote where Horikoshi was talking about it, and he basically said, if things go smoothly, then I'll probably have the series end in like a year. But then he also said, but if it doesn't go smoothly, I'll just have this exact letter written and said in the next year's Jump Fest. And what I posted on Discord is like, you know what? I'll give Horikoshi this. He is not like hiding the fact that his story does not go as planned. Like he's just making some stuff up as it goes. Because like with
Yeah.
My Hero, sometimes it's like, I don't know why you're doing this, Horikoshi, but okay, I'll stick with you on this.
Okay. But yeah, I
But
think
yeah, there's a chance it'll end, but I have a feeling it's probably not going to end like as soon as, like, say, Doctor Stone is. But I think it'll outlive that. Maybe Jujutsu Kaisen. I forgot. Actually, no, maybe not Jujutsu Kaisen, but probably like Doctor Stone and Mashal will end. I think before My Hero
yeah,
does, and then maybe
yeah,
Jujutsu Kaisen run after.
probably. but yeah, so I guess we should talk about the last chapter as well, like chapter 337, because it pretty much had a similar vibe to what happened with Todoroki and Endeavor in the sports festival. It wasn't exactly the same, but kind of had a similar vibe going for it with Deku basically saying like Ayama, it's never too late to be a hero.
Yeah, so last chapter was just Ayama just like confessing everything basically to Deku, and then like all the classmates expressing all their emotions, a lot of crying and tears going on essentially, and then just trying to figure out what to do next. And then what I find interesting, and we'll get into it this chapter, is last chapter, the very last page, Bakugo said, if nothing else, maybe we could steer them. And then he goes, Deku, I get it now. And I was wondering if he had a plan in mind. But then this chapter, Bakugo really doesn't say anything.
Yeah, I know.
Like, there was a plan that was established, but it was not Bakugo. It was like Deku and Aizawa. And I mean, I'm super glad Aizawa's involved. We'll get to in a bit, but
definitely.
It is just like very surprising that Bakugo, despite having being set up for, oh, I know what to do, unless he has a separate plan in mind that we'll come into. So I'm just hoping Horikoshi didn't accidentally mess that up.
Well, we'll have to see when we get to that if it ever comes about. But yeah, in this chapter we have basically the police gagging Ayama because despite everything, despite the confession, despite everyone saying like it's all right, we know it wasn't really you acting of your own accord. There, he's in the police side. He's still a criminal, and he needs to be held in police custody. And he's conspired with All for One, and they can't be sure like if he reveals anything, he might be booby trapped and basically exploded. So I like this aspect of like the police force like being like, okay, yeah, even though it's clear Ayama was not acting of his own accord here, he's still pretty much in league with the villains.
Yeah, and also they want to make sure he doesn't explode like Lady Nagant, which fair enough.
Yeah. So oh, just trying to think.
Let's see. Then they're just saying some stuff about his parents. That's not too interesting, honestly.
Yeah.
Then what he basically said is like Deku says, "Detective, we can't find All for One. That's the current situation." And then literally, that's when everyone else puts together, "Oh my God, we have a chance to do something. We could use Ayoma to lure out the bad guys." That's effectively what happens.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, well, I mean, I actually just forgot last week that Bakugo's the one who probably had this idea.
Oh,
but
yeah.
It is weird.
Yeah.
He didn't say.
Yeah, that's probably what he was thinking about. That. Yeah, the fact that we know that Ayama's confessed to us, but All for One does not know that fact. So yeah, we can use this to our advantage, and we have and everyone just like getting ideas through their heads and everything, and we have Ayama basically thinking like, who could possibly deceive All for One when I'm a despicable villain? And then we have Percent like being like, okay, slow down, everyone, don't drop the gum. A crime's a crime, and I hate to say, you bunch are the fixers here. Can you really trust this guy? So, yeah, but Percent Mike, you should really. This is what I don't get about Percent Mike's attitude here. It's like he, for one, should know firsthand about what it's like to have a friend be perceived as a villain because of what happened with Kurogiri.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't even think about that. I would say the difference is, of course, Kurogiri wasn't acting according to the will of his classmate, who I'm blanking on the name right now, but Monkey Boy. Hang on a second, Luke. Mm-hmm. I'll be back in just a quick section to something in mind.
All right, I'll just quickly read these comments here. One smart when Kurosami compared Deku's secret to Ayama's, it felt
a little bit
like a pretty huge leap. What do you mean by that? One smart?
Oh, yeah, I was thinking of coming in Christmas.
Yeah. But yeah, going back to the chapter itself, I'm surprised that Percent Mike didn't. I'm surprised Percent Mike was like, can
I
you
mean,
really
the only other thing is
trust
I
this
was telling
guy?
people
But
that wanted
yeah,
us to
Percent Mike,
get
he's one of
and
your
say,
students as well, so
that
you
would
should
be
know firsthand that you can you probably could trust him and that he's not really acting of his own accord here. But whatever. And we have um Ida saying, yeah, it's all in the past. It's all in the past. The responsibility also lies with us for being unable to perceive what lie in his heart, which is precisely why when we witness our classmate weeping in despair,
You have a plan for witnessing?
our urge is to reach out for him as a friend, which I like because that's pretty much in line with Edith's character, in the sense that because he's the class president, he feels responsible for all the members of Class 1A, including Ayama, and the fact that he couldn't even perceive what Ayama was going through. That kind of I think irks him on a conscious level of not being able to be there for him as a friend, as classmate, considering what they went through in the professional license exam, where they kind of like worked together to kind of like pass one of the first stages, and the fact that Ida should have really seen something from Ayama at that point in time. So yeah, I'm glad that Ida is kind of taking responsibility for Ayama here, as well as in saying like all of them should be taking responsibility for what has happened in this situation. When he said they didn't judge him for being quirkless, that felt very disconnected. Yeah, I can kind of see where you're coming from when you're coming from there with your comment there once more, but yeah, I can kind of see that, and that could be a little bit of disconnected, but again, I feel like I feel like that should have been brought up a lot more earlier. The fact that Deku should have like been more open with everyone of like, yeah, I've not had this quirk for as long as you guys have, and they should have like really sat down and talked about that rather than him keeping a secret for so long.
No, not yet. I was waiting for some stuff.
But yeah,
like this.
but yeah, we have Ida going on to say to allow him to take our hand because that's the only way we can once again make him an equal, peer. And then what I find crazy is the fact that okay, yeah, I can kind of see why Bakugo says this, but at the same time, it's like, come on, Bakugo, cut him some slack here. But yeah, I think Bakugo is thinking about more to the time when he got kidnapped, and he's like, oh yeah, Ayama is responsible for me getting kidnapped. So yeah, I think my houses should make it even. We have Sato saying like, isn't that a little bit extreme? Don't you think?
Apparently that happened when I was communicating with the coordinator.
So yeah,
I don't know if it's still open at this point.
I feel like that's what Bakugo is saying there. It's like he's thinking more back on what happened in the forest training camp arc, of the fact that he got kidnapped. So yeah, I am gonna make him remember the fact that you kidnapped me. But again, I feel like Bakugo is being a little bit petty there.
They didn't get back to me this week. Oh, probably. I didn't like. I think the rotation were pretty open when I was almost.
But yeah, we also. I can kind of see where you're coming from here. Once about when we have Kirishima saying, Ayama, you thought you were helpless against All for One, that's why you obeyed, but things have changed. You tried to get your folks to put an end to this bad deal, didn't you?
I'll look into the
when we went to grab Midori off the streets, did one of us give him crap for being quirkless at one point? Did we hold it against that dude for keeping it a secret, for holding back those tears? Yeah, that kind of feels a bit disconnected, but at the same time, I feel like it would have made more of an impact if they actually knew early on.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry, my mom was calling about holiday plans.
Oh, right, okay, that's fine, not to worry. But yeah, I was just saying that what I love about what Ida says here is that is that he's kind of taking responsibility as the class president for what happened and the fact that he should have known better. So I like that Ida is kind of like taking that responsibility on him.
Okay, that's an interesting interpretation. Well, first I want to say, like, they keep emphasizing that Aoyama is like still kind of hates himself for what he's done. So I do kind of like that the class has some level of bonding, even though I'm not too invested in it because we know very little about them. And then you brought up a good point with President Mike. He really should be more sympathetic. But with Ida's point, the first thing I want to say is like when that first page came up in page 6, when he said that is all in the past, I'm like, Ida, you learned about all this today. What do you mean this is in the past?
Well, technically,
you can just say this is it's like, oh my God, I found the guy who's done all the bad things. It's like, well, that was in the past. It's like, no, you need more time to process this.
Yeah, and I was saying as well, like with Bakugo saying the crap I went through because of him. I feel like Bakugo was remembering the time when he was kidnapped in the forest training camp.
Yeah, and that is true. And then once more, I will talk about both the things you said when they come up because I absolutely want to talk about that.
Yeah, I would say like with One Smart, I feel like it would have made more of an impact if the class all knew early on that Deku was born quirkless.
Well, that's the thing. It's not even, I think, about the impact. I think what's important about that is, and so other people have said this online, is that Deku being quirkless is like not even that big a deal. For number one, like the story started initially by Deku saying that, UA is accepting even people without quirks now. It's no longer a requirement, which I still think is a complete missed opportunity that they still don't have a quirkless student as in a competition because they brought that up.
Yeah, like here's the thing. We'll get to her at the end, but it would have been cooler if May Hatsume was quirkless, and like the reason why she's in UA is because of the fact that she uses her babies as sort of like a way to compensate for her being quirkless.
But even then, she's not part of the heroes course, so it's her just being part of the support class doesn't kind of help the point that I would kind of want.
Then if she was in class 1A and it's like, oh, she got in because she's technically gifted and she's able to fight the robots using her babies rather than a quirk, that would have been interesting.
Yeah, I think it would be. I mean, it's not like the most original idea. It's like the Iron Man take. Basically, I made a robot suit to fight the bad guys. But yeah, at the same time, I would have liked Hatsume to be like a more central character. But yeah, we'll talk about that more near the end. But then the second thing with but what I was saying was like Deku, him being quirkless was not like a crime. Like when he told his friends, like, guys, I'm sorry I didn't tell you about my quirk. First of all, him being quirkless wasn't the problem. Him and even he hiding the fact that he has all for one's quirk was not a crime. Like that was to protect himself. So those are all okay. Like Ioma hiding the fact that he was selling out this class and putting them in mortal danger. That's like an actual problem. So yeah, I kind of agree that Kirishima's comparisons was really like stretching it once I thought about it.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. But yeah, we continue on. They're basically saying that they've already told them that all for one won't believe any lies, and they've got to keep a cool head about all of this because it's basically a shouting match at this point. So they're like, okay, settle down, everyone, and then we have probably the most wholesome moment from the chapter where we have Aisawa saying like, yeah, I'm partly responsible for this too because I am as my student, but still, even though he's been in league with the villains, and after everything that's happened, I'm still have no intention of expelling him. So yeah, I like that moment from Aisawa.
Me too. I thought if I had to pick a character, he would be like my favorite character of the series. And Ann Arbor, I'm not sure if I can fully agree with what you said, just because I feel like number one, my hero was like honestly like was never really all that great in terms of writing. I mean, it had its moments, it had arcs where it was really solid.
Yeah.
But I will definitely agree its art has gotten progressively better.
Oh
Absolutely,
yeah,
I will agree with that
I
point.
will agree with that. Yeah. Dropped in Ryan. Yeah. Yeah, because My Hero basically took ideas that had already been used before. I mean, didn't Black Clover come before My Hero?
No, no, My Hero was first. My
All
Hero,
right.
I
All
think,
right.
was like 2014, and then Black Clover was 2015.
Okay. All right. But even then, My Hero kind of like, okay, you have a hero who doesn't have any powers, that kind of is reminiscent of where of the similar thing happening in Bleach when Ichigo lost his powers.
Well, gained his powers from Rukia, but yes,
Yeah,
that is
yeah,
very true.
yeah. And also as well, like the whole vestiges of All for One, that's basically the Avatar state.
Oh, yeah, that is very much the Avatar state.
Yeah,
And Ann Arbor, yeah, okay, sure. If you want to talk about the last few chapters, then maybe. I still thought that like this last arc had some really good chapters and some decent writing for Deku, because I think Deku's development over the previous arc has been some of his best stuff, and I'll talk a little about more of that near the end. So I think writing wise, it's still been pretty decent recently. It's just these chapters are a little more feel over dramatic. It doesn't hit as hard just because they haven't established enough with Class 1A throughout the story to
yeah.
really earn this.
That's
And I think
really
that's what everyone's saying. Thurman said the same thing in Discord.
yeah, that's really a big issue. It's like because me and Tyler Pancake or Certified Jeremy in the Discord, we did like a tier list on My Hero, the Class 1A and Class 1B, and yeah, we kept saying they would be higher if we knew more about them.
Yep. And I mean, when everyone like has that problem, you have a problem with the cast. I think because of the school setting, Horikoshi added so many extras just to fill out
Yeah,
seats,
I
literally,
feel
and
I feel
that
like
kind of
I feel like there should have been at least 10. There should have been just 10 characters like in each class.
yeah. Even then, you don't even need multiple classes. I mean, we're talking about a super selective school. You can just have like one class. That would have been fine.
Yeah.
Like, who's going to be like, well, this isn't realistic to Japanese high school. We have different classes and competing events. Like, I don't care. You could just divide them into groups when you needed people to compete. I don't
Yeah.
know. I think, I mean, there are shonen stories have like too many characters to begin with, but I think, and usually we don't care, but for moments like these, is in My Hero, I think is when we're like, yeah, you really didn't do enough with these characters you brought up.
Yeah. So anyway, we have basically Isamu saying, "Oh, I have a plan, but you need to cover Ayama's family's ears for a minute so that they can't hear anything, and therefore all for one won't know what the plan is before they're taken away in strict confidence." And we have the class trying to get Ayama to react to them, but he's kind of like still dejected at this point. So so then we have everyone saying like, okay, we better prepare for the final battle with All for One and possibly Shigaraki at this point. And I really like that nice color spread, that not color spread, that nice spread of all of them, like how Horikoshi was able to get them in all on one single panel.
On page 13.
13, yeah.
You know, the funny thing is that Thurman made a good point about this. It is kind of funny in some way to see some of these characters have such a serious expression because we've never really seen them like that before. And like, we don't even know what the plan is. So it's like, okay, I guess it must be a really serious plan if everyone's acting like this.
You know what I think it is? You know what I think it is? I think it's just meant to be like, oh, this plan we're gonna take them down for what they did to Ayama.
Yeah, I mean, it's still kind of funny, like just seeing all these characters super serious, and it kind of feeds into like the very last joke, which is kind of what I want to get to.
Yeah, so we have
Uh,
Deku
Go ahead.
being serious, saying to prepare to the upcoming battle, I need to get an upgrade to my costume, and we have an explosion happening, which he just like, oh my god, we're going through all of this again, and we have Hatsumi.
Okay, just look at Deku's face for just a
I
quick second.
know,
Page 40. He's like just staring at Ida like, yes, this is an explosion, and I'm a cool guy who's not going to look at said explosion.
yeah, and then we have Hatsume doing what she likes to do with Deku and put her personality in his face.
And then the best joke of this entire chapter is just look Deku's expression. Because, like, if you remember from the very first time this happened, Deku was, like, completely frazzled. But here, he's just like, I don't have time for this. It's
Yeah.
time to get serious. I'm a serious protagonist now.
Yeah,
I don't do goofy things anymore.
and it's funny as well because now May actually remembers him.
Oh yeah, that is also true. But oh my god, I like if you ever had to point to a single moment, it's like, okay, prove to me that Deku is developed as a character. I would point to this
Yes.
because it's like, look at him. He's like not even frazzled. He's like risen above the typical shonen MC just
Yeah.
because he's not reacting. Oh my god, I love this.
Oh,
I love this moment.
I know. Also, I've got to say, I know, but yes, I know like four names of students of this class. Yeah, that's kind of a problem when it becomes the Deku, Bakugo, and Todoroki show.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And one smart chapters rely on the
You
bond
might
of class.
sometimes get Kirishima show up.
Yeah. Chapters relying on the bond of class A just aren't going to hold up at this point. That is true. Like this whole moment with Ayama, I feel like would have hit more if it was actually in the war arc.
Wait, sorry, what was in the work?
Like the moment where Ayama was revealed to be the traitor.
Oh, I don't think it's bad that it's in this part of the story, but because, like, I mean, there's a purpose to Ioma's reveal right now because it's being used for like the next big step, and they're kind of at a stalemate with the villain. So I don't think it being here is a problem. It's just that, I mean, we talked about this last time. There were a lot of clues that Ioma was like the traitor, which thanks again to the My Hero fans for pointing that out to me. It's pretty cool. But weren't too invested in his characters. It's more like we just needed more Ioma in general.
Yeah.
Because he is one of those not forced students that we don't know.
Yeah. I don't like how they revealed it. Yeah, that's fair, and you can that's fair, Anaba.
Yeah, and I would agree with that one. Because I remember with Dobby, for example, I thought the Dobby reveal would suck because everybody knew it. Everyone's known it as if they wrote the story themselves, but its execution was sublime. Here, because Dobby just like went on TV, broadcasted everything, and I'm like, oh my god, this is awesome. But Ioma was just like, oh, a hot, random invisible girl found him in the forest, and I'm like, talking to his parents, like. And even after his reveal, it wasn't like he had like a very sophisticated reason. It's just more like he was caught in a trap, which isn't a bad thing, but it's still not as like I guess I'm interested to see where his character would go from here. Like I said, when William was revealed to be a traitor, it was followed up by like one of the best fights in Black Clover. Ioma's revealed to be a traitor. We get a bunch of the kids just screaming back and forth and then getting over the fact that their friend was a traitor.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing of what might have made it a bit better is if Ayama had Ayama's beam had accidentally killed Invisible Girl.
I mean, well, first that would kind of suck because her whole power is deflect light, and she died to the one thing she could defend against. That would be hilariously stupid. But yeah, I get what you mean. Is like if she got hurt, then the class would have more reason to be mad at Ioma.
Yeah,
but yeah, so I see what you're saying. I'm just saying it would be hilariously stupid at the same time.
But it would have been more of like he's like, keep away from me, and he's just firing beams to just keep everyone away.
Yep. And Ann Arbor, yeah, you make a good point. It was like a reel for the world more than it was for us, so that kind of worked. But I mean, this was a reel for like the school, but and we don't care enough about the kids for
Yeah,
that to
we
matter.
don't. We
Because
don't.
we're like, what about all the time we spent together? It's like, what time? You guys
What?
did things?
Uh, yeah. You and Ida kind of had a moment in the professional license exam arc,
You,
and
you saved Deku one time at the entrance exam.
yeah, and you had a moment with cheese.
Yep. To be fair, I did like the cheese moment just because at the time I was thinking something was going to happen. It didn't, and then it did. So,
Yeah, like
yeah.
if Ayama, like you said, if Ayama was like present everywhere, like if he was there fighting, if he was there fighting Stain instead of Todoroki, if he had gone to Camino with them and seen All for One and just had this glare from All for One to All for One to Ayama, and just thinking like, what are they doing there? And it's more, and at that point we would have thought like they as in like the whole kids, but at that point but now that's being revealed, he was like, oh, he was probably mentioning they as in Ayama.
Yeah, and like I said, I don't think more clues would necessarily helped if he
No,
wasn't
no,
there
I'm not
more, like
saying
you
that as
said.
I'm not saying that as a clue. I'm just like saying that as like just a general thing. Like if he went to Camino with them, and it was like more like All For One was saying, what are they doing there? And like I said, like at that point we would have thought like, oh, he's referring to the kids being there. While he's fighting All Might, but now it would have been more like, oh, he's referring to Ayama, like sort of that thing. It would have been a clue. It would have just been like more like a general thing.
Yeah, but it also wouldn't have made sense for him to do that, I think, just because he knew All for One was probably going to be there. So, I mean, I think in general, it's less that he needed an encounter with All for One so much as he just needed to like be there for like bigger story events. Like if I don't know, if he and Deku were both um, just like involved in like the forest thing, or
Yeah.
I don't know, like there were more moments with just him with the other classmates doing
Or
things. But then
maybe, or
again,
maybe if
you
he,
could
or
say that
maybe
for most of the class.
yeah, or maybe if he actually failed the professional license exam and he had to actually spend time with Todoroki and Bakugo.
Yeah, that's another good point. If he was just there for like even side events like that.
Ah. So yeah, my hero this week, pretty much just set up for what's going to come later.
Yeah, I mean, it had some really like over the top dialogue, but I liked Aizawa and I love the funny Deku faces.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my god, that was
So
great.
yeah, I think we can now move on to talking about Witch Watch or Ayakashi Triangle. Which one do you want to do?
Let's do Ayakashi.
Okay, all right. So yeah, let me get it up.
And I guess Blazing Boy, if you're still here, this will be spoilers, I guess, if you want to stay anime only.
Yeah, I think he's gone to bed because it's like where he is right now. It'll be 1 o'clock in the morning.
Oh Jesus, yeah. Okay, cool.
Okay, so yeah, Ayakashi Triangle. Pretty much what we expected from the from last time. This whole kiss is going to be like the
Yeah,
talk of the
we
town.
like predicted it pretty well, I thought.
Yeah, yeah. So we have basically everyone in the school saying like, "Oh, did you hear about the kissing incident? Class 1A, Hirosage and Kanado both kissed Kazumaki." And which we could have, which I could have seen it. What's more, can't use their tongue, and yet this like that like Roboco style character saying like Canada's got skills, not that they compare to mine, of course. But what skills do you have, woman?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just one of those girls who are bragging about their skills at romance, whether or not they have them. But I did want to talk about the next panel a little because I was really interested to see what Lou's reaction
Yeah,
to all this is.
I love
And
the fact that she does not care.
yes, I kind of am not super into that. I mean, I like normally it would be just like, oh, if it was anyone else, it would be like, oh, okay, she has no comment. she's open to people just loving who they want.
So I guess
But
does this mean that Lucy is bisexual?
I don't think it necessarily means that so much as she's just accepting of the LGBT. But anyway, my thing with this is that these are her friends, though. Like Matsuri, she got really close with, and Kanade, Suzu, Suzu,
Yeah.
she's known for like a while, to our knowledge. So I mean, like it's more. It's not just like people choose who to love. These are your friends in a relationship. I feel like you should have like more comments on two of your friends getting together potentially.
I guess that's how some people are.
I guess so. I mean, I was just a little let down myself because I was kind of hoping more for like her to be like interested in either like what's going on with them, or she would be starting to suspect something because it's like, they aren't acting the way they usually act. Because I thought that this would be the impetus maybe for her to get more involved with the story.
Yeah.
But they are still bringing her up, which is good. I think that means that they're remembering to bring her in for her eventual integration into the Ayakashi stuff.
Yep. And hopefully get her and Yayu some powers. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Knock on wood with
Yep.
that. But yeah, I also as well, I've seen some comments from people of like, basically ignorant comments about Ayakashi Triangle of like, oh, it's just ecchi and nothing more. It's like, no, it's not just ecchi. There is more to it than that.
Yes, but it's also like mostly ecchi.
Mostly ecchi, about 90% ecchi, but there's more to it than that.
Also true.
Yeah. Anyway, we have everyone just basically saying like, basically just chatting about it and everything, and yeah, Matsui's kind of getting a bit annoyed by this now, and Yayo basically saying like, yeah, this is getting a bit too out of hand here.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, this is what I expected, and I think the best part is Matsuri was mad because he really enjoyed the kiss.
Yes, he really did enjoy the kiss, and he's like, oh, Suzu, why did you have to go and do that in front of everyone? We're not together officially, and yeah, no, of course, I'm mad about that, and yeah, that was that kiss was too amazing, and Shigaragi's like, that's what you're mad about the kiss being amazing.
Yep. Yep.
Oh. And of course, Suzu, because she can't let Mei be the more in your face one about it, she had to override it with her own kiss.
Yep.
And then
that's her reasoning.
Yeah, and of course Mei is listening to this, and this was pretty much part of her plan. Like, she thought that she lost to that crazy kiss, but in the end it went just as planned. Rumors are scared. So basically, her plan is like, okay, I'm gonna kiss Matsuri in the sense so that I hope Suzu will kiss him, her. And then that will cause rumors and everyone getting worked up about it, and will destroy the relationship through rumors.
Yeah, I guess that was her plan. It's a kind of a stupid plan.
It's a stupid plan. It's a stupid plan, May. But one thing I'm really quite interested in is this flashback that she's kind of having.
Oh yeah, that was very well drawn. Because you can kind of see like a lot of people being mad at her, and even including her own parents.
Yeah, so I'm like, so you're saying they're meant to be? Oh yeah, because you got that woman in the background that's sort of like her.
Well, I mean, in the text bubble on page 7 says, "You're not my daughter."
Oh right, okay. No, I was referring, like, if you look at the background, you see right.
I see that now that you pointed it out. So yeah, that's probably who was saying that.
Yeah. So we have basically Mei saying, no, it's not Mei saying, it's Matsui saying, I'll let the kiss slide as something you had to do. I just don't like that everyone's looking at you weird. So yeah, basically, okay, I love this about Matsui. It's like she's more, that's really going to get confusing at times.
I mean, you can use what pronoun you want. I'm gonna try to use he most because that's how Matsuri sees himself. But
Yeah.
feel free to do what you want.
So we have Matsuri basically thinking like, oh yeah, this kind of reminds them back of when they were kids when Susan was seen as weird because she was talking to what others perceived as invisible creatures.
Yep.
So this is why Matsuri's going to make the situation blow over and go into Rio, and of course we all know what's going to happen now.
Well, before we get to that, I just want to point out, like, one, when I first read this chapter, I thought to myself, it's kind of nice to bring back this, like, early plot point of Suzu being ostracized because of Ayakashi, because, like, Matsuri's initial motivations to become an exorcist was to kind of, like, get these Ayakashi away from Suzu so she can lead a normal life. So he kind of villainized them in some way, which was, as he learned over time, the wrong thing to do. But the other thing is, I find it kind of funny that he's like, I don't like the way people are looking at you as weird. And I'm like, for the most part, at least from what I'm seeing, this school has been, and we'll talk about this more, but this school has been pretty supportive of these guys. And that's why I think that May's plan is like really dumb, because she's like, man, these rumors are going to tear them apart. It's like, no, I think they were very supportive of the LGBT here, which is surprising, but I mean, that's what's up.
So we have,
no one's saying it's like, oh my God, I can't believe those two are together. That's just weird and wrong. No, everyone's like, oh man, that's so awesome.
Yeah. So we have Rio basically sitting on her own, and people are wondering like, oh, what's she reading? And it turns out she's reading some features about Gunpla, whatever that is.
Apparently it's something to do with Gundam. I just Googled it.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
So she's like a Gundam girl, that makes sense.
She's a Gundam fangirl.
Yep.
And
then
and of course, Matsuri gives a lot of innuendos to everyone, and Ryu's just going along with it because she actually knows, like, yeah, this is probably part of a plan. But at the same time,
also she's probably really enjoying it.
I was gonna say she's probably really enjoying it, and yeah, everyone's kind of like, yeah, this is code for something. Are they in a relationship? What is going on here? And
then they hide in the closet.
the classic hiding in the closet, and Ryo starts undressing, and Matsuri's like, yeah, what are you doing? And it's like, oh yeah, we're supposed to be in a suspicious relationship, so if we show up flustered faced and something else, which I'm not going to say because I might get flagged for YouTube for saying it, a new rumor will go around, and we have Ryu putting her personality in Matsuri's face. So yeah, she is pretty much enjoying this. So it's like, my one chance to get the upper hand on Suzu is finally here. You just have to accept your fate, Matsuri.
I enjoy that Ryu is back and doing these things. This is why Ryu's like one of the best characters in this series.
Yes. And then we have
I also like her line here, we've come this far, you have to accept your fate. And I'm like, Matsuri, she kind of has a point.
Yes.
It's like, what are you going to do here exactly?
Yeah. So then we have Ninokuru walking around everywhere, hearing about the rumors, and Poe is like, oh, there was a deep kiss that happened between Suzu and Matsuri, and he's like, oh, just shut up about that.
Yep. And then Suzu runs into him and he's starting to like be really fixated on her, which I mean, I guess that's what Matsuri meant by people looking at her weird, just because like they might be thinking she's very promiscuous or something.
Yeah.
So that kind of like changes the way people are looking at her. But at the same time, I don't think it's like the weirdest thing for people to look at her.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, Suzu is actually rather promiscuous, so I mean, it's not wrong.
Yeah, they're not wrong. and as they're wondering where Matsuri and Ryo are, no, as they're wondering where Matsuri is, they're like, "Oh no, I don't know where they are." We have them hearing Matsuri saying, "Don't try to take my clothes off. You're going too far." And then they just lunge themselves at Ninokuru, and then a new rumor starts up about Matsuri jumping on a guy, and this is where they play it off as like, "Oh yeah, you came to save me," and the new rumor starts spreading that Matsuri is an enchantress.
Enchantress, but yeah, I love that line with Matsuri. It's like, I'm so glad you're here to save me. Like Matsuri like really likes Ninokuru, like not like romantically, but it's actually kind of sweet how much like he values their relationship.
Yeah.
But Ninokuru is all like, "Oh, you're my rival in battle or something," but but for him it's like, "You're my best friend."
Yes,
From these crazy girls who keep trying to put their personalities on me.
yes. Why do I get the feeling that this is probably a series that Deku Bakugo fan shippers would like?
Oh yeah, I mean they would really enjoy it. Which is actually, it's really surprising to me that Ayakashi isn't more popular considering the kinds of things it has. But once the anime comes out.
Yeah, once the anime comes out and they're like, "Oh, we've got a new Bakugo type character in this in a series now. Let's draw fan art about them," and then they're like, "Actually, we've already got fan art in the series itself."
Yep, it's like fan art of this series is like extremely redundant.
Yeah. It's like the series knows, like, okay, people want fan art, we'll give them a free sample.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, the rumors started around about Matsuri being an enchantress who could seduce both guys and girls, and he's like, "Okay, it's fine now. I'd rather be seen as an enchantress than have everyone see you in a weird way, Suzu." And now he needs to set up the seduction game. Yeah, and we have Shigaraki Shinagari going. He's too serious. He might go astray because of it. And May closed out the chapter by saying, "Matsuri is a force to be reckoned with."
Yep, I just love that line. I need to up my seduction game. Like he's like way too into this right now. But I mean, what that tells me, and I think the author on Twitter said he wants to do more slapstick, even more so than before in the series. Now this is like Matsuri's motivation to just like go out and be very romantically proactive.
Yeah, yeah. So come on. So how much do you want to bet that there's going to be like date chapters with Suzu, Ryu, and Ninokuru?
So, yeah, I really love this chapter. This series has been like very on the ball, like for like the last couple of chapters. I think if it wasn't for the fact that like several other series are having like super hype arcs right now, this would probably be ranking much higher. Like, but it's still up there.
Oh yeah,
Ayakashi's really up there.
I don't think you heard what I said. I said, how much do you want to be that when we get back after the Christmas break, there'll be like date chapters with Suzu, Ryu, and Ninokuru.
Oh, I mean, I can kind of see that, like eventually, but I'm not sure if like it'll be next week. But I see what you're saying because like if Matsuri's saying this, then he would probably set something up. But at the same time, after this chapter, he's just like, "Oh man, Rio, if I do something, she's gonna go take it to the 11th degree."
Yeah. Oh my god. No. I think what it'll be like is that if it was to be with Rio, he'd be like, "Okay, you have to control yourself, Rio. We're doing this because of my plan, but you have to control yourself." And Rio will be like, "Yeah, of course I'll control myself." And then fingers crossed.
She's definitely not going. But let's see. Next chapter, I don't know. Like, I mean, I can see Matsuri doing more antics, but like at this point, I think we've established.
You know what might happen? the rumor
What's
might
up?
get to Matsuri's mother, and she might actually set up the dates.
Oh, I didn't think of that. That's a good idea. Because, yeah, because she was like, she's really trying to get him away from Suzu. So then he could be like, she could be like, oh, hey, I'll help you out by setting up a date. But she like really wants it to work out to like act against Suzu. That's clever.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
still think Matsuri's mom's being like weird about that. But, oh, you know what would be even more funny if they're going to do this? If, Ninokuru's dad, if he also hears about this, and
Yeah,
then
of course he'll
it's
hear
like,
about this.
and then Shadow May's like, "Well, I think the rumor plan is somewhat effective."
That
That would be good
would be good.
because we haven't seen the dad in a while, and he was very supportive of his son dating
I know,
the transsexual.
I know, I know, and Ninakuru will probably be like, "Dad, you don't understand. She is a dude."
And he's like, "I'm very supportive of this
Yes.
happening."
And he's like, "What kind of old man are you?"
Yep, everyone in this like world is very progressive.
More progressive than some people.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, like, when Ayakashi's going to come out and people are going to say stuff against it, it's like, well, this is a much more progressive show than you would think from
Yeah,
the antics.
yeah. But yeah, really fun chapter, and can't wait to see if our predictions come true. So yeah,
Yep.
I guess we can move on to talking about Witch Watch.
Yeah, sounds good. I have lots to say about which watch.
Yeah, because I saw some, I did see some, was it tweets or discussions on Discord about this chapter?
Oh, I mean, I don't think I said anything yet, but cool.
No, it was something about like we've got vampire. They said we got vampires in the series, and I believe you commented on it.
Did I? I mean, I was going to comment some stuff about vampires, but I don't. Did I already? Uh, I'm not sure if I'm seeing it. Yeah, I don't know.
Huh.
I was going to like definitely talk about the vampire stuff, but yeah, I don't see it yet.
Okay,
Because
fair
Kama
enough.
didn't bring it up, and yeah, I don't think anyone else brought up Witch Watch. All right, cool. So Witch
Yeah,
Watch then.
Witch Watch. So yeah, continuing on for the last chapter, we have the warlock basically attacking everyone, and we have yeah. No. Oh, who is it again? Oh, forgetting the
Oh,
name.
Khan.
Khan, that's it. Khan, that's it. Say like our witch is supposed to be female, and yeah, they said warlock, not witch.
Well, to be fair, warlock in this world is like an evil witch. You're right. The usual warlock typically means male magic user versus witch being a female magic user. But in this case, warlock just means evil witch. So, I mean, I'm kind of glad that you just added this point. Although I also wonder why women are more magically inclined.
Yeah. Maybe that will be something that will come up later. Maybe it's connected to Nico in some way.
I doubt it. I feel like that's probably always been the thing in their world, but we'll see. So yeah, we have this warlock show up, and he apparently awakened his power after he tried to drown himself. Which, I mean, that's a dark story
I
already.
know. I was like, what the?
Yeah, I mean, so I hope we learn more about this character as we go down because I really want to know like how he got to that point.
Yeah, I do as well. So we have him saying like this match has to get a ton of money and start. Oh, ton of money. Maybe he was homeless.
Could be. It would explain a lot, like the fishing gear and things. I think that's how he gets his food. But the other thing to make note of in that thing is he's taking Nico for the sake of money. So like someone put a price on her head.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I think this arc will be some effectively bounty hunters.
Yeah, pretty much. And then we have Moe saying like he must be someone with witch blood whose powers awaken under emotional stress. So I guess he might be connected to Nico in some way.
I don't know.
Because
I mean,
Nico,
you
like
could,
let me just look at it. All right, she has pink. She has like kind of pinkish blondish hair, doesn't
well,
she?
she has pink hair. We can look at it's on the Viz website.
Yeah, but it's kind of like more like I think it like has a blonde tint to it as well. If you look at the roots, like if you look at the roots going down where her shirt is, it looks blondish there.
I mean, maybe, but like, I don't think they necessarily have to be connected. I think it's just that this dude has blood. It's not like all the witches are related. Like Nico and Nemu are probably not related.
Yeah, fair enough. But speaking of Nemu, she says that she doubts he has any training. The only magic he'll know how to use is his specialty, which is obviously water magic. But of course, everyone still can't move despite what's been happening. And even though Moe tries to use his lightning burst, that's still not enough to get out of the situation. And we have the warlock saying resistance is futile. Uh, very, very annoyed that they didn't feel very annoyed that they didn't actually put in a jab at like don't start making Star Trek references.
um, yeah. The way this water magic is just drawn is just so good.
I
love
know.
like Shinohara's art. Apparently, water is just one of the things he's really good at drawing.
Well, he's proven it. He's proven it here, and like the warlock says, water flows, water splits, water's totally marable. Use magic to make yourself smaller, and it'll envelop you right away. And it's the ultimate. Yeah, water is the ultimate weapon.
Well, water is the ultimate weapon when you're in the middle of a river, I guess. If you're in the desert, good luck with it.
Well, no, even if you're still in the desert, it's still the ultimate weapon because if he has the power to control like the water in a person's body.
That's the thing. I don't know what level of control he has. Like, if we're going to go bloodbending, that would be a whole new level of crazy.
Yeah.
And yeah, one smart, I also really enjoyed this chapter, as we will discuss.
Oh yeah, yeah. Also, one smart. I've got to ask you something as well. Since we're in a new arc, do you think Nemu will be moving into the house at the end of this arc? I've got to ask you that because it seems to be a power flowing here. Like each one of the friends after a major arc has moved into the house.
So while we wait for that, continuing onward. So Nico gets captured, and yeah, everyone knows him or knows her as the Witch of Thousands.
Yeah,
and then I really like the next page where.
Oh my god! I've just realized something. We should have known that he was a vampire. A vampire.
Oh, the umbrella thing.
The umbrella thing. Yeah.
Yeah. When I finished the chapter, and I was thinking to myself, that's why he was just carrying around an umbrella. That's like I said, Shinohara's like good at leaving these tiny, tiny clues.
But then again, he pulls down the umbrella to kind of turn it into a sword.
Yep, also true. But I think that modern vampire interpretations, like an anime I'm watching, which I guess they had their finale today, which I have to watch later. Like Irina, the vampire cosmonaut, the sunlight doesn't kill them, but it does irritate them.
Okay,
if they're prolonged for too long, it could just because, like with the Keigo, he doesn't like turn like into a werewolf, like a monster that's out of his control. Like when a full moon comes, it's just like a crescent shape changes his, like gives him like a split personality essentially. So, and we'll talk more about the vampire dynamics as we get to it.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say was Moy.
Also as well, I'm just quickly going through the last chapter. Yeah, throughout his introduction, he always had the umbrella up. So yeah, that kind of probably would have been a clue. We should have seen that coming.
Yep, but we didn't, and that's what Shinohara does very well.
Yeah.
But yeah, getting to page 40, or back to page 6 of the
Yeah.
current chapter, like, man, the second where Moy was thinking to himself, man, okay, I don't have a choice. I got to cut off my legs at the knee. I was thinking,
Okay,
oh my God.
Moy, calm down. You don't have to go that extreme.
Well, he didn't because of what happened, but also I was thinking those are the lengths he's willing to go to.
I know.
That would have gotten so dark.
Yeah, also true. Also true. So we have Miyahara showing up, and he's like, I thought I'd bring everyone some drinks. That's all. And then they're like, nobody asked. Read the room. We're kind of in the middle of a situation here. Um, and and then everyone's like, get your dad. He should be able to cut this water, but the warlock is already one step ahead of them, and that he already knows about the father, and he's not so weak that he can cut through the warlock's magic. And this kind of throws your theory about like this was a setup for, because it seems like it wasn't a setup from the family.
Well, at the very least, Mahiru doesn't seem to be aware of it. It could be his dad still involved.
Could be.
And
But-
one smart, I'm not sure what you meant by 1-4 ratio, or sorry, 4-1 ratio. Are you talking about like
They might draw the
familiars?
line. They might draw the line at the 4-1. I think he is talking about the familiars. Like no, I don't see Nemu becoming a familiar for Moe. I see her more becoming a familiar to Nico, and that's why she moves into the house.
Well, we'll see. I was also wondering about the familiar status, especially as we learn more about Mahiru. I was wondering if he was going to be involved in the story as a familiar or not. So, if that's where you're going, One Smart, I kind of got what you're getting, because I also was like, how many more people can we possibly add to this house?
I know, but yeah, but Mira mentions that his father's magic only affects low cast monsters, but magic this strong is something only he can cut, and it frees Nemo. So yeah, his umbrella becomes a sword, which is badass.
Dude, that art was amazing. Love the way the water just is sliced.
I
So
know.
cool. But also, I'm very confused by a couple things. I mean, maybe it's in the next page or something, but I was thinking, oh yeah. Okay, so I guess the reason he could do that is because he's the strongest in his family. Because I was gonna be like, why couldn't your dad do that? But I guess he's the strongest. That's why.
Yeah, because he says the power on the next page. It says the power to exercise evil comes from within. I inherited that power more strongly than anyone in my whole family. So yeah, he pretty much saying he is the strongest in his family.
Okay, that makes sense then. Oh, and page 10, something I missed, but a manga review video I watch, they brought up something interesting. Like if you look at the top of page 10 in the corner,
Yeah.
Keigo is opening up his backpack. Just keep that in mind for a quick second.
Oh right, it's because he opens his backpack, it creates a crescent moon, so that he's able to turn into wolf.
Exactly, because I didn't think too much of it at the time because I figured he had something on him, but I didn't realize there was already a detail that points to him like awakening.
All right, yeah. So yeah, to cut a long story short, we have the warlock basically being asked what we have Miro basically asking, hey, what should I do with the warlock? Should I slice him up? And then the warlock's running away. But of course, Wolf being out is already after him, and he punches the lights out of the warlock, and he's like, yeah, like you're getting away, and then the warlock's like, yeah, I'm not going to let that slide. If I'm going down, I'm taking everyone with me. And we have a giant like water hand needle thing hand basically come down on everyone, and the only one that gets hit is Mira, which everyone is freaking out about here.
Yeah, I was so shocked when Mahiru got speared.
Yeah, I was like,
this isn't that kind of series.
Yeah, and to see someone actually bleeding as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, just that artwork. And yeah, one smart, yeah, okay, I see what you mean. 4 guys, 1 girl situation. So you're thinking that like Mahiro will join up, but then that'll probably be it. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, yeah. But again, I would really love it to be Nemu, considering we've spent more time with her.
Yep. I mean, I know you do, but and hopefully it happens, but we'll see. And also, the thing is, if my hero does come to live with them, that means he's going to need a reason to go with Nico, and that might mean something's going to happen to his dad, whether it's revealed he's a traitor or he gets himself into a situation of sorts.
Yeah, that could be a reason.
Because it feels weird otherwise. I mean, I know Keigo's mom just went on vacation for a bit, but
Yeah,
I feel like they're going to do more.
Being on gone on vacation, quote unquote.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But yeah, page 14, yeah, that shocked me. Man, this dude is like evil.
Yeah.
The water warlock.
Yeah, so we have Moe asking Nico to use the healing spell, but we have Miro saying, "Oh, that won't be fast enough. Give me your hand." And we see him pinching Moe's arm, and he's like, "Ah, this is so nice. Oh my gosh, what is this incredible? What is this It's incredible." Morihito, yours is so damn amazing. I've never seen and Moe's just like getting confused about this, like what explain yourself, as we see the moon closing up, and it's all healed now, and pretty much giving us our reactions, like what happened.
Yeah, when I read that the first time, I was thinking that the reason Moi's like energy helped him is because of his ogre Quingon or something, like basically his chi, chakra, kai, whatever you want to call it. Like our character was also able to use that stuff and can use it to heal himself. But I guess it's like life essence or vitality.
Like he.
And the other thing I want to point out was on page 15. Nico was like really shocked. Like she like couldn't. It's not like she was like, "Oh man, my healing would work." She was scared. I think this is the first time she realized just like people are going to die trying to protect her.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And now that I really think about it, like maybe in this arc she'll almost try to give herself up to protect her friends.
Maybe that might actually happen.
Yep. I mean,
this arc as well. They have to they have to also like address like people. People need to find out that Nemu was the cat this whole time as well in this arc. Since she's there with them, that has to be addressed.
Yeah, I mean, if they don't at this point, it's like, when are they going to do this?
Yeah.
But yeah, we find out Mahiro basically wants to go back to normal and just give everybody drinks. I'm going to be honest, I still don't find him like super hilarious, but I get more respect for the guy after this chapter.
So it turns out that what happened was his family's power, and he can sip on a person's vitality in time, and basically makes them immortal. And he explains that his family are actually vampires, but he says like, "Oh no, we can still feel pain like everyone else. That doesn't go away." And it's the first time he's ever seen his own guts like that. And then they're all shots like that word that comes out of that cute face. It's like, wow, that is something.
And I mean, the fact that they're immortal. I wonder how old. Like said he was in middle school, but I wonder like.
I think that's a lie.
It could be. And I wonder how old his dad is then. Like, there could be a lot of cool stuff they could have now that we know that, like, these supernatural, like, fighters, exorcists, are basically vampires. I wonder why vampires are, like, the protectors of this world, so to speak.
I wonder that as well.
Yeah, the series has, like, some like very impressive world building. And I kind of hope they dig more into it.
Oh yeah, definitely. I definitely hope they do as well.
But yeah, this was a good chapter. I enjoyed the vampire reveal because again, it's one of those classic Shinohara. It's like, this was hiding right under your nose.
Yes.
But I did find it a little strange that these vampires don't like suck blood. They just take life essence by touching people. So I mean, I know
guess,
that like
I guess they're like a new breed of vampire. Like that sort of like branched off from the blood drinking vampires, and maybe that's why they've got the immunity from the sun. It's like, okay, it was actually them drinking blood that caused the sun to be affecting them, but the fact that they drink vitality means it's less effective for some reason.
I mean, I makes as much sense as anything else. I could see that, but I like I was saying with the werewolf, the modern interpretation of these guys are a bit different than the actual counterparts. So I do wonder if this vampire has the same weaknesses because we know they don't drink blood, and the sun is only like a bit of a bother at most. But like, are they still going to get killed by like steaks and silver
I
and
don't think
all
they
that other
will.
crazy garlic? I don't know.
I don't think they will.
Yeah, I mean, you could be right, but I mean, we'll see. My hero's just carrying around an umbrella around for some reason.
Yeah.
So
Maybe he just likes the aesthetic of like of like that aspect of a vampire. Like, I just like carrying umbrellas around.
yeah, I would imagine he's kind of a weirdo.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, Witch Watch, really awesome chapter. Uh, if it wasn't for Doctor Stone, it might be my chapter of the week.
Yeah, like chapter of the week would probably still go to Doctor Stone for me too. I think Black Clover was a close second, and Witch Watch was actually I almost would put Ayakashi above this just because I think my one issue, it's not like much of an issue because this arc's still going to keep going. It's just that we had like this villain set up and he was already taken down.
I think,
I mean,
yeah,
I don't think we're done with him. I want to learn
no.
more about him and the other warlocks, but at the same time, they defeated this dude pretty easily in like a very unconventional way.
Which makes me think that he's not the true villain that they should be looking at for, and it might possibly be the dad.
Yeah, very possibly. And I mean, I'm so looking forward to seeing how the dad's going to be involved in this. And then we predicted that Nemu, like whoever joins the house, is usually an important part of the arc. So if Nemu's family is involved in this at all as well,
Yeah, because Nemu's Nemu's from a family of witches, so maybe again she's maybe her maybe the fact that everyone's so focused on Nico, they're not actually paying attention to Nemu's family, and it's actually Nemu's family could be actually more powerful than Nico's family.
yeah, well, we'll find out because Nemu's mom's apparently an elite witch, whatever that means.
Yeah, yeah, we still need to figure out what that's all about. But yeah, Witch Watch, really amazing. Looking forward to the next chapter. And now we're on to the big one, quite literally.
I mean, I don't know if literally is the right word there, but yeah, this
Dr.
we always end our
Stone.
dream with Doctor Stone.
Yeah. First things first, I've got to talk about this color page. I look because somebody was like saying like, why is Stanley Gray? And I'm like, isn't it obvious he's being petrified?
I mean, here's the thing. The reason people were saying that, and also this color page is amazing. I love
I
it. The
know.
look. But the reason people are saying that is just the fact that he's like in the background and he's kind of grayed out while the other characters are colored. People are wondering, is this a death flag? Basically, that's why they asked that. Because
Oh,
I mean,
that
I
was
saw that tweet you made, but I mean, the reason they're saying that wasn't like literally. It's like, hey, why is he cleared out? They're like, oh my god, please don't be a death flag.
oh no, please no, not Stanley. And
That's
again,
why they said that. And I mean, come on, redeeming a villain through death, I could see the series doing that, but I hope it doesn't happen. Because
and
nobody
again,
dies in Doctor Stone. No,
no,
this is the series where nobody dies.
and again, Stanley's marks are not there. Like Boichi, I love you, but in these color pages, you cannot draw Stanley's marks on his face.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Stanley's marks, unlike Senku's, are technically drawn on now, so he doesn't actually have any marks anymore. Oh, wait, actually, no. Did we? We
No,
talked
he
about. Oh,
does.
yeah, no, we did, because his marks are different. So
His
it
marks are
could be
different.
that he's like Zeno, where he had marks. Oh, yeah, so, okay, I guess we don't have it 100%, but so, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Also, as well, I've got to say to what that YouTuber that does the reactions to the Dot Social where where are they? Where are they? Yeah, Packer Girl, the YouTuber who does reactions to all the Shonen Jump. Like, I'm sorry, but you are. I'm sorry, but you are. You are giving TMS Entertainment for the Doctor Stone. You are giving them a hard time because they actually despise the Doctor Stone anime because of apparently what they did to the artwork from Boichi.
Oh, well, I mean, I've seen other people have that same take. They prefer Boichi's manga art style to the anime.
Oh, I get
But
it,
I
but
mean, like,
to call it like flat out awful, like the way they're talking about it's like it's the worst thing in humanity's history.
I mean, some people aren't going to be too into the anime's interpretation, but I mean, Boichi, you can't expect people to draw at his level. That's crazy.
Yeah, that is
Like,
crazy.
I took pictures of some of like the panels he drew, and it's just like people. The fact that a human being can do that is crazy.
Boichi is in a class of his own. Nobody should try to imitate him, and we are getting rid of that, and we're getting rid of that bot right now.
Yep, great.
Yeah. But yeah, so really awesome color page, and I hope that's not a death flag for Stanley. Please don't let it be.
Yeah, the title is called Zero, which at first I was confused what that means, but it comes out near the end.
Yeah, it comes up at the end. So basically, the first part of the shot is doing more training, and I just love how Senku and Korko are really struggling, and then you just see Stanley just on the boat, just having a smoke.
Yeah, I did wish that we saw more of this training and even just Stanley's bonding. As like with this chapter, we see that. Well, we'll talk about it, but like I feel like having more time spent here would have been very nice. Just to like, because Stanley is a character we didn't get to spend even a lot of time with during his arc.
No, you're right. You're right about that, and I really wish that would happen. Also, I really wish we actually knew like the month and the year of the launch date because we only get like the 14th.
Okay, I'm glad you brought that up because that was going to be my big rant for this page and maybe chapter. Because it's like, this is like the launch of the first manned mission in the Stone Age. Like, thousands of years it took before this happened. And we just get, it's the 14th. 14th of what?
Yes.
We don't.
And also as well, this begs the question, are Chalk and Sagare still alive?
Yeah, we still actually don't know that. But, I mean, okay, and I still haven't seen Mirai. I want to see Mirai.
Also, I'm glad you brought that up because we'll get to it when we get to it.
Okay, that's fine then.
You'll
But
see.
yeah, okay, when like the moon landing happened, that's like a day, 1963. We like have that calendar like date marked for a good reason. This is like a big day in like history, and we just get, oh, it's the 14th.
Yes, I know.
That's dumb.
Inagaki, we love you, but you really should have just given us a date. I guess it was probably because he didn't want to have the issue of like, oh, I've made a mistake on the timeline again.
I guess. Yeah, but at the same time, it does bug me. And Carl saying, yes, I agree. It's the final arc. We're all like both excited and also sad to see the series go.
Yeah. Also, Carl saying thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining us. Glad you can make it. And Albert, I really hate how much Dr. Stone skips, especially. Yeah, that's been kind of an issue, but at the same time, it does make sense because most of the inventions that they make at this point are basically reconfigured from things that they've already built before, so it kind of does make sense.
Sure, but I think he also brings up a good point that they did skip a lot of even just the astronaut training, like Stanley training them how to use guns, for example. So I agree that like this is like an arc I'm really enjoying, but at the same time, I think this is like getting to like the weaker parts of the story, if only because we're not doing as much as we could be.
Yeah, and I really wish we were doing more. But anyway, we cut over to Treasure Island where we have also by the way, Carl Singh, I'm sorry, but we're gonna be having major spoilers. So if you're not caught up on Doctor Stone, I apologize about that. I am so
But
sorry.
he said it's the final arc, so I would assume that means he's reading it, right?
Yeah,
I assume anyone who's watching this is up to date with the manga, or just really doesn't care about spoilers.
He has been reading it because he has been informing me, but I don't know where he is at. I don't know where he is at the moment.
Okay, well, I'm assuming if you're here, man, you're okay with spoilers or you're caught up.
Yeah. So yeah, we have
get the spacesuits, which look hilarious.
Yeah, you just look at them and you just laugh. You just laugh. As soon as I saw them, I was like, like Kohaku looks like I don't know how to. It's like the spacesuit.
Other
like
people have said she finally looks like a gorilla.
Yes, but yeah, it looks like the spacesuit is. It looks like it will fit 2 Kohakus in it. It's like how are they even functionally moving in those things?
It's a good question, but I mean, it's kind of one of those things where the series decides to go the realistic route because there's no way this is for style points.
No, and also Stanley looks like in that panel. He looks like he's pretty. I think he's pretty much thinking the same thing. Yeah, I look ridiculous in this.
Yeah.
If you look at his eyes, like Senku's like, I'm going to space. I'm going to space at last. And Stanley's just like, I look ridiculous in this suit.
Yeah, Stanley has way more personality, which I appreciate. And then we're moving forward.
Yeah, I know. But what I love most about Doctor Stone was the way to all the inventions and other goals. Yeah, and I think that has lost a little bit as we've moved into like taking on the Y Man. But I think we're gonna get to it when we get to it. But I think something big is gonna happen. Like, because this chapter just made me think red flags of like, something bad's going to happen. We'll get to it when we get to it. But yeah.
Yeah, but I do agree that the inventions are probably kind of done. Like, we're not going to have too many more inventions. We caught up effectively.
Yeah. So we have Kohaku and Ruri and Suika saying goodbye to Kohaku and say, promise me you'll come home safely. We have Chrome saying, don't tell me you're getting cold feet now, Professor Senku. And he's like, have you even met me?
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, and that YouTuber said like Gen should have been in that panel as well.
Gen gets a moment. It's fine.
Yeah. And then we have Stanley and Sinu basically flirting with each other, pretty much.
Yep. What I like about
go ahead.
Yeah, so what I like about this, and I could send you the page if you want, but like this moment between Zeno and Stanley right now, like Zeno's talking about how their powers together, they'll wage war, but then Stanley counteracts that by saying it's not just us anymore. And then Zeno acknowledges that it's because we joined Senku as well as the entire world. And this is actually in direct contrast with something Zeno said before. If you remember, and I was rereading this chapter recently, that's how I know. Zeno said when they were revived that, yes, now that I'm back with my science and the military expertise of my childhood friend Stanley, we can rule this world. And so this is actually illustrating their character growth for like both of them, that they are no longer trying to like unilaterally together rule the world, but just work with humanity to do something greater. So I thought that was a nice touch, especially since it came from Stanley.
Yeah, and I love that, as well. And again, like it was said, like the only reason I think Sinu wanted to kind of rule the world is because he was kind of annoyed by the higher ups basically looking down on him despite his genius, and he kind of like wanted to prove them like, I am a genius, I can rule the world with science.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't blame him. Yeah, and now he's basically doing that, like you said. So it's like, what's the point?
Yeah, what is the point? So yeah, and probably one of the cutest moments of the chapter where Sinu gives Stanley chewing tobacco shaped like cigarettes because, as you know, no smoking allowed in space, of course. Gotta
he needs the oxygen.
Yeah, gotta respect those rules of thermodynamics.
I was just gonna say, you just straight up need the oxygen.
Yeah,
but that too.
Of course. And then we have Tsukasa saying like they should be able to handle any moon combat as the ultimate tag force, Stanley and Koku. And again, love this moment between Ryusui and Stanley because it's a callback to what Ryusui did at the when they were basically getting Xenu to cooperate with him. How he put a cigarette in Stanley's mouth.
Yep. And I also love this moment, but now that we've reached this point, I also want to say it's this chapter and these moments that make me realize if we spent more time with Stanley, I feel like this would hit even harder. Like, I feel like we spent, okay, in contrast to, say, like My Hero Academia, Stanley as a character, we spent more than enough time to be emotionally invested in his being here and like joining with the crew. Like, it still like hits very hard.
Yeah.
But the fact that he's bonded with them and has come to really like and respect them makes me think, well, I kind of wish you spent time with the crew. We got to see that, and then maybe even address the fact that you murdered them. That would have been nice to talk about.
Well, again, it was kind of like they came to the consensus like, okay, if Xenu helps us basically get to the moon, we'll have no hard feelings of Stanley because we'll class his actions as like acts of warfare. And like I said in my last review, it was kind of like their fault to begin with that he was chasing them because they kind of came into their territory, stole their leader, and buggered off.
Yep, and I completely agree with that. I'm just saying that it's still like a point of something they can talk with. Yeah, I mean, Xenu and Stanley, they really didn't do too much wrong. They acted as you would expect another nation to.
Yeah.
If anything, like Senku, like kidnapping people is like, okay, but why?
Yeah, so again, it wasn't really Stanley's fault at the end of the day. And and I've gotta respect those space rules. So again, it really wasn't Stanley's fault at the end of the day. And they might have had that talk, but I think they were like, yeah, there's no point in talking. Like, we know he's going to be on our side anyway because now we've got Xenu on our side.
I mean, that's fair. I guess I just said when character development, I usually just like to see a little bit more.
Fair enough.
But we needed to get to this point, and it makes sense since it's the last chapter of the year.
Yeah. So we have Ryusui asking Stanley, "Can you do it?" And of course, Stanley being Stanley, he can, because he's Stanley Snyder, the most badass sniper in this series.
Yep. And also, I think what I liked about that moment is Ryusui, he started out by saying, "Am I wrong?" Or rather, "Can you do it?" It's like switching from his phrase to Stanley's phrase, because Stanley's phrase is, "I can," in response to, "Can you do it?" So that kind of is like a subtle way of saying that these two have gotten to know each other, which is nice, but it would work better if we saw it.
Yeah, it would have worked better if we saw it.
But I think we did see like enough from that one really emotional moment that it still hits. Like I said, so these are nitpicks, guys, not major complaints for this chapter, except the launch date. That's a big complaint.
Yeah, that is a major complaint. But anyway, we cut over to Luna, who I guess came back to Japan off screen.
Yeah, which, I mean, Luna is probably, and I just talked about nitpicks, but Luna is probably one of like the least utilized characters of like the central cast. Because it's like, oh yeah, Luna's back. Yay! Where were you?
I was in America missing Senku. That's where I was.
I mean, it's just so funny. She did like one thing, but then they didn't do anything for her. Remember back in the day, we were talking about her being a medic and you thought a universal translator. We had the craziest theories for like, oh my God, Luna's going to be like such an important character. Every city is going to have like a new character. And except for Sai, who's awesome, that didn't happen.
No, that did not happen. No.
Oh, man. I thought they were doing more with Carlos and like Max at least, because I mean, we're like the only people in the fan base who probably know their names.
Yes, I know. I know. I'd like to be. Hey, Ann Arbor, if you're still here, would you remember Carlos and Max's names if we didn't mention it just then?
I'm just saying, like, Blazing Boy, he's probably asleep by now. He knows all these Black Clover names. We know Carlos and Max.
Yeah, we know all the Dr. Stone names. But yeah, this is the part of the chapter that I was like, okay, yeah, something bad is going to happen.
Oh, yeah, I mean, Senku literally says, relax, the historical death rate for humans in space is only like 5%. It's like, Senku, why would you say that?
Yeah, and Suika says, like, Suika even actually brings up a good point. What if the rocket fails like all those other times? And this is where I brought up on the idea of we'll get more into it in a minute, but what if the rocket blows up once they've left the Earth's atmosphere?
Yeah, I saw you say that in the Dr. Stone server.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's actually a good point because okay,
we've seen the satellite rocket go into space, but we haven't seen the man-made rocket go into space.
Yep. And what I was going to say is I still think the petrification at launch is a dumb idea, but I think this chapter at least sold me on one aspect of it, which is if something goes wrong, then there's a good reason to petrify them. So I'm like, okay, you know what? That's a decent reason to like petrify them because these are not like modern rockets where like Senku says, you know, mortality rate 5% or whatever, but that was like, you know, in our times and they're still working with Stone Age tech.
Yes. So again, I feel like people are like giving the series too much flack for like how short it'll be because like the fact that nothing bad has gone up until this point, like yeah, something bad is going to happen, which is probably going to make the series be a little bit longer than 3 months that Furman said on Discord.
Yeah, because 3 months is like 12 chapters. There's no way this is ending in 12 chapters.
No. And so we have Gen saying our space cadets will be petrified for takeoff, so even if the launch fails and blow up, they could just gather the fragments and revive them. Yeah, but what if it blows up in space again? Then what do you do there? And Tydra's like, good point. Good point. And I just like even Senku's like, yeah, that's not very convincing.
Yep. And if Gen can't convince Taiju, no one's convinced.
Yeah, even Taiju's not convinced. But yeah, this is the point I wanted to say here. It's like, so no way will fail, because Taiju says no way will fail, and if worst comes to worst, if I'd spent decades finding all your little stone bits so that Yuzuriya could piece them back together. This makes me think that the rocket will explode, and Taiju and Yuzuriya will have to go up into space to collect the fragments that are just floating around in space. They won't be like major like okay, Senku's missing like this one crucial bit. It'll be more like okay, his arms over there, his torso's over there. Like it won't be like major breakage away, but just sort of like split off.
Yep, and they end up in the ocean. I mean, I really enjoy this panel just because it's one of those times where you get to see like Taiju and Yuzu how much they care for Senku, which I think is like something that was like very underdone in the series because I love their friendship. But at the same time, realistically, Taiju, like I'm with Senku. I know you'll try, but it's like realistically probably not going to happen. You don't, if Senku actually blows up in space. And I think that's what the people were saying on Discord when you were talking about it. If it does happen, like they can't realistically find every piece of Senku.
That's what I'm saying. It's like it won't blow up Senku complete. Like say it'll just be his head floating in space, and then his other body parts are sort of like stuck to get. They're still connected, or like so like. Or like his limbs get blown off, and then it's just his torso's there, his limbs are there, his head's there, and his arms are there, and nothing else is like blown off as a result. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but that would just feel weirdly convenient for like an explosion of a rocket.
Fair enough, but I'm just like somebody said like what would happen if if it happened on the moon or something like that. And I'm saying like, yeah, that's probably another theory that I had. Like, what did they say exactly? Let me go back quickly. Yeah, because Mims on the was saying it's pretty worthless as a plot point, or some that they'd still have the set up their time revival fluid watches. I think the time fluid watches is not going to work as well, or something like that. That might be what happens.
That could, but I mean, I see what they meant when it's like, well, there's like a multiple ways that was in reference to the Medusa going off, and if the Medusa like prematurely goes off, they could probably time it. Which I mean, I see what they're saying, but we'll get into that a little bit later.
Yeah, but yeah, this is what they said on the. I found it. Imagine everything going well until they arrive at the moon. Which
yeah,
and so yeah, and also another point in this chapter I wanted to bring up was the point about Miraya. It's like if you look on page 10 and look at the panel where everyone is like toasting Senku, Stanley, and Koku. Look in the right side of the corner of that particular panel.
The right side of the corner, like the bottom right, Shovel?
Yeah, you see Shovel, and she looks exactly the same as she did when she was first introduced.
That is a good point. I didn't put that together. Because I remember seeing Shovel, and I'm like, oh, it's nice. We get to see all the other characters. But yeah, no, yeah, okay. That is a misstep.
Yeah, I guess maybe just some people. Maybe it's just kind of like the idea of some people just look young even when they get older or something like that.
Yeah, that or they completely messed that up. Or it's the idea that the petrification really messes up people's aging.
That probably is something, because if you remember...
Honestly, if they bring that up, I will forgive this. Yeah, but otherwise, it's like...
If they bring that up, because they have brought that up before with Kazuki in a way, because when he was revived after being petrified or Cheshire, his arthritis was gone.
Yeah, that they did. So, yeah, I see what you mean. It was like something that has to do with aging has been reversed.
Yeah. And speaking of Kazuki, we finally get the moment I think a lot of people have been excited about. The meeting between him and Joel.
Oh, yeah. We were waiting for this. We were waiting.
Yeah. And so we have basically Joel coming in and automatically knowing who Kazuki is, and him say, and Kazuki going, "You must be Joel." And I love the fact that Joel, like, subtle bit of character development from him, but you can clearly see like he is not rude to Kazuki.
That is true. He does. That is true.
Like, so again,
I have a lot of respect for him.
Yeah, so I feel like again with Joel, like it's all like it's all like nervous around women, mean around men. I feel like that's only in certain situations. Like,
well, I mean, we haven't seen him interact with a woman confidently yet. That was just like a theory you kind of had, like if we thought sibling, a sister of his or something. But at this point, we still haven't seen it. The last time we saw him is he was still like blushing when he was working alongside Yuzuriya and Luna.
Yeah, but I feel like at that point, because he had still only just met them at that point, because even after they were revived, that was, from their perspective, it was still only like a few like hours tops.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. Agreed. But it's, well, actually, it might have been a little longer because that was like when they got to India. But at the same time, I agree that it was still probably too soon, but it's not like we've proven that Joel can act confidently around other women just yet.
Yeah, I guess that's something cool.
Kaseki, yes, because, you know, that is a good thing you brought up, because he does have a lot of respect for him as a fellow engineer.
Yeah. So I guess in the next chapter we'll finally get to see them have that toast with each other.
Oh, okay. I thought this was the toast.
No, because we don't actually see them. I want them to see like glasses being clicked with each other and being like, here's to the space mission.
I mean, Okay, I would like to see that too, but honestly, I thought this was it. None of this is
Oh,
what we're getting.
oh, fair enough, fair enough.
I
But
mean,
yeah,
if I'd like to be wrong. I'd like to be like the moon got there. If something goes wrong, they fix it, and then they're like, okay, now this seems like a good time for a toast. That would be awesome. But at the same time, I'm already willing to accept that this is the toast right here.
okay, fair enough, fair enough. So yeah,
I'm putting it out there.
we have Kazuki saying it's been years since using one of these batteries. Okay, how many years? We still need to know that.
We really do.
Yeah,
It's been years
but
since using one of these batteries. Like, because to us, that was only a couple chapters
I
back.
know it was only like about 6 chapters ago.
Yeah, but it's like, it's been years. It's like, how old are you, Kaseki?
I guess no, because he said he was a craftsman for 50 years, so I guess 60. So I guess he's about in his 70s now.
Yeah, even if we say he's a young craftsman, that's about at least the age. Which, I mean, like, good for that he's alive this long, because life expectancy in the stone world isn't high usually.
Yeah. Well, now that we've got the Medusa, that's probably like because they've said it's basically making them immortal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's the other thing they have to figure out how the mortality works, especially the aging thing. I really want to find out now.
Yeah. Yeah. So we have Kazuki giving Senku the Medusa, planting the Medusa on the spaceship, and Senku basically petrifies him, Kohaku, and Stanley. And this is where we get them discussing the Medusa misfiring and what will they do if it stops them again. So I'm glad that they're bringing up all of these points because it seems way too convenient to not bring up these points and not going to come back to bite them in the arse.
Yeah. So, oh, hang on. So yeah, they get petrified and everything. And everyone's so apparently shocked by it, even though they knew that was going to happen. I found that kind of weird, but whatever. I guess the light just scares them.
Well, technically, it's the villager. Technically, if you look, it's some. It might just be the villagers who from Ishigami Village who have not experienced the Medusa light before.
Well, based on the costumes, yeah, there might be. Well, actually, no, the Ishigami villagers have seen it before when the world got very petrified.
No, I mean like this Medusa, like the Medusa itself. They saw the petrification, but they didn't see like this type of petrification.
Really, didn't they? Because,
No, they
wait,
didn't.
huh? Actually, yeah, you might be right. Huh? Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. So,
Hmm.
and some of them are on Treasure Island as well. So, oh yeah, they obviously saw the Yeah, never mind. The Treasure Island people did see it. But yeah,
Yep.
the Ishigami Village people didn't see it. So yeah, we have them saying like, all they can do is hope that nothing goes wrong. Which yeah, Yukio's saying that something's gonna go wrong.
Yeah, exactly. And the fact that someone else pointed out the fact that they couldn't figure out what went wrong means that the idea of a traitor might still be plausible because I would assume they would have tested for mechanical issues of some kind, and like maybe they would have been smart enough to test out a vacuum because that's what our theories were. So
Yeah,
if they weren't able to figure it out, that likely means it was tampered with, which does still leave that possibility open. So.
does still leave it open as well. And we have Miyamiya reporting on
Minami.
Miami reporting on the rocket being flown up, being launched as we get the countdown 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. And oh, there's Mantle.
What? Oh
It,
yeah,
it,
there.
there
Nine,
he
yeah.
there he is. We found him at last. He's like where's Waldo? Where's Wally? Try and find Mantle in the series.
I mean, hey, it's nice to at least acknowledge he's still there.
Yeah, he's still there. So we have Senku basically giving the idea of like in the of what it's like to actually be in cased in the stone. It can't hear anything, feel any vibrations. It's so quiet in there. But he's assuming that Sinu's moving according to the plan, and he knows for a fact that he is. And we get him thinking back of the time when he was sitting there counting by the seconds go down as the seconds go by, but now he's counting down. And again, this gives me my theory of like of Taiju and Yuzuriya going in space. The fact that they brought up that panel of the dolls in space.
Yep, they did bring up that panel. I really like all the callbacks here. It just helps like tie in like stuff from the beginning of the story. This arc's been doing a very good job of just like bringing up earlier stuff and then tying it back to like, look how far we came.
Yeah.
I also wonder if those, like the way those dolls look, they look like older. I'd almost as if they're implying that they're still floating in space.
Possibly. That would be interesting to see if that was the case, if they're actually really up there.
Yep. And then like the next page, like the double page 1819. My God, I love that art.
You love that. You absolutely love that.
Mm-hmm. Like
yeah.
I love when he uses the photography like based art. It's amazing.
Yeah. Doesn't like Treasure Island look kind of like that like the Medusa pyramid in a sense?
I mean, it's like a triangle. Pretty sure they're just mountains, but yeah, I can see what you mean. But I think those are just triangles.
Yeah. So we have Senku saying now he's counted down by humanity's wits, by the power of science. We reverse the petrification of our world back to zero, and now we're departing that very world. And we see the rocket getting blast off, and that's where the chapter ends. So we end the year on the rocket actually being launched.
Yep, and we figure out why this chapter is called Zero because they reset the world back, and there was the zero for like the launch to the ship. So yep, very dramatic moment.
Which is the
rocket.
Yeah, which is going to be ruined by something going bad.
Which brings me to my question for you, Luke. So I didn't see anybody say anything about this, so maybe I'm just like looking way too much into this picture. But like, is the rocket okay? Because there's like fire everywhere. Like not just the engines, but like everywhere. And I'm like, okay, I'm not a rocket expert, but like, why is there fire everywhere?
Oh, yeah.
Supposed to be like that? Is that just for dramatic effect? Or is that like steam coming out of the rocket, or is that like literally the rocket going into flames?
I think it is the rocket going into flames.
I don't know, but it's like if that's the ending note of this chapter, like how come no one picked up on it? That's what I'm thinking. I might be making this up.
Look! No, it might be because if you look where the launch, where like the launch pillars are. Look at the top.
Yeah, they're also on fire.
They are also on fire.
So I don't know. That's what I was thinking when I was looking at this for a while, but I haven't seen anyone bring it up. So yeah, I don't know if it's happening, but I'm just saying if next chapter we get everyone panicking in the beginning, this is probably why. If we don't see everybody panicking, then I'm just like, I don't know how rockets work, clearly.
Yeah, we don't know how rockets work. But also as well, if you look at the two like fins sort of like at the bottom, you see like how we've got the two fins, the two smaller fins.
Yeah, I see them.
They look kind of like curved in. Like, are they meant to be curved in like that?
That I think so. I think that's just the design.
Huh. Because I don't know.
I mean, like, my big thing is, like, you see where it says Senku 11, or where it would say Senku 11, there's just, like, this bursting flame out there. And I'm like, okay, I didn't design this rocket, but why would you design it for stuff to come out of the logo?
Yeah, good point. Good point.
Yeah, but I don't know. I thought I would just bring it up and see what you thought about that.
Yeah, that has got me thinking, like, oh my God, yeah. It's going to get up there, it's going to get into space, and yet something bad is going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
I don't know how people think it's going to be smooth.
actually, okay. Here's the thing. They get up into space. The rocket goes careering out of control. They decide to petrify themselves again. It explodes, and their their parts actually land on the moon. So like they're on the moon, but just like broken up.
I mean, yeah, I think I've heard that too, and then we would have to send a crewbie, and the best part is, like, if we could see it from like, you know, what would be kind of cool if we saw like the next chapter from Senku's perspective, and he's just thinking to himself, it's like, okay, like he's counting in his head like what's happening because he can't feel anything. So if
Yeah.
he's counting in his head and then he's just thinking, oh, it's like, okay, so this is about the port where we would get over here and we're exiting the Earth's atmosphere and we should be landing on the moon right about now and then we'll get revived. And basically, like, as he's like thinking about all this, he's just like, huh, is my counting off? It's like, no, my counting's always perfect. I'm Senku. What's going on? And then that's when we find out something went wrong. Like we're just watching the astronauts, like, you know, those three where it's like, hey, wait, we should have woken up. And more specifically, Senku, because he's the one keeping track of the stuff in his head. That's when it would be like, okay, then we switch to the other characters and be like, wait.
Yeah.
So
Because
that's like one prediction I have.
Yeah, Inagaki, please let that happen. Please let that happen.
But Dr. Stone, amazing chapter. I honestly didn't want this to be the launch chapter just because I wanted more time pre-launch to say goodbye. I wanted Senku to visit maybe Byakuya's grave. And I also, after reading this on Twitter, I hope they brought space ramen. Because my God, Senku, your dad literally made a whole point of having a story where he promises his dying friend to eat ramen in space. You better have brought the space ramen.
Yeah, you better have bought the space ramen, Senku.
The thing is, the space ramen, I don't think it's been canonized in the manga yet. They put it in the anime filler, but they have to bring it in the manga. So I was hoping to see that too, but yeah.
Yeah, what can you do? But anyway, yeah, that was the end of our chapter discussions. Really, really fun chapters this week. And obviously next week, Shonen Jump's on break because it's Christmas. So there'll be no stream next week. Hopefully the week after we'll be back doing the streams once again. And yeah, that's all we gotta say. So hopefully everyone, you have a happy Christmas, happy holidays, whatever you celebrate, happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa, whatever your religion is, or just have a general good time and everything. And we'll be back. We'll be back when the chapters are back. And until then, peace.